Hello, my spooky pookies. It's Faye Fangs here. We are back with another episode of Vampire Therapist. If you weren't here last week, neither was I. It's been absolutely disgustingly hot out, as I'm sure many of you are also experiencing. I think our high last week was like 116, and I was just exhausted. It completely drained me. I needed a day off to take a nap and get caught up on some sleep because the heat was just like overwhelming. Hello, Alpha Ethereal. Thank you so much for being here. So yeah, let's jump back into where we left off. How are you doing today, Elf? I hope you're keeping warm, because I know it's actually the opposite problem for you. I know it's been cold for you. Continue. I think it was this one. This one looks... They both look the same, actually. Okay. Let's go! I don't know if you can tell, but I actually have two fans on me right now. Like, I have one on that side and one on that side. Also, you're subscribed at Tier 1. You've been subscribed for 9 months. Congrats! Alright, so Andromachos says, Samuel, greetings. I believe you are seeing our actor friend, are you not? Elf, this is the one that you missed, not last week, but the week before, who is incredibly over the top.
Yeah, I guess so. Still ain't sure I'm the right therapist for that fella.
There may not be a right therapist for him, but let us think positively. He has put himself in your care, and that is a tremendous step.
He trusts us.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm thinking it's gonna be an uphill battle, though.
Hi, Alliance Web. We are so back. Good to see you, too. Is it, like, disgustingly hot where you are, too? I would imagine so. I feel like it's hot for a lot of people right now. Like, we're all in the pits.
At least his core distortion is clear, don't you think? You know what it is, I am sure.
Ooh. It's personalization?
It's personalization, right?
Of course, a distortion common to many with narcissistic tendencies.
Oh, I called it. He's a narcissist. It's absurdly hot, but it's cooling down finally. That's good. Yeah, I know it was like 116 for us last week, and this week so far it seems to be like around 100, which is slightly better. But hopefully it keeps going downward. 'Cause it's been everybody's suffering. It's horrible.
Yep, it's the Edmund Keane show all day, every day.
I recognize your disdain, but pause a moment. It must be difficult for Edmund to make everything all about him all the time, don't you think?
I feel like it's not that difficult for him to make everything all about him all the time. He seems to be doing it quite easily, actually.
He doesn't have to make everything about him, though.
He doesn't know that. Keep digging, Samuel. You will find his truth. Choose your distortions well.
Oh boy. I went a week without doing this, and now I don't remember what the distortions are. Okay, so Edmund Keene's core distortion is personalization. We can't even look at his chart while I'm in this screen. Let's see. Emotional reasoning, maybe. Labeling. Let's do overgeneralization and maybe disqualifying the positive. I feel like he disqualifies the positive other people do more than himself. I'm not sure if that'll come into play, but we can try it out.
I think I'm all holstered up now.
Very good, Samuel. I wish you patience and compassion. Good luck.
See you later, Andy.
Oh, this guy's so rough.
All right, now what did Andy teach me? Breathe.
Ah, yes, breathe.
I think I'm ready. Right on time. I think I hear him coming.
Bat.
Hey, Edmund, good to see you. How you been feeling these past few weeks?
Empty, my dear boy. Empty. I am but a vessel made for a single purpose. But alas, and alack, that purpose is in supply most rare.
Oh, here we go.
You mean acting, right?
Aye, that's the rub. Acting, my dear boy. Acting. My thespian blood goes rancid with stagnation, and the only cure seems to me irreprehensible now.
Oh?
I do not wish to face these mortal directors, for they dare to tell me my art.
Ain't that what directors are supposed to do?
Oh, my dear boy. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and others have greatness thrust upon them. No director can thrust greatness upon the already great. In mine own case, mine greatness have already been achieved.
Okay.
Well, maybe you can help me understand a little better. You said that greatness was thrust upon you, right? How did that happen?
Ah, you are curious to hear what circumstances created this actor non pare. I cannot blame you.
I am quite interested in finding out how all of this happened, yes.
Well, recounting such a history will please me indeed.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
I first rattled the foundations of the stage as a mere babe. Indeed, too young for memory, and yet old enough to command attention.
Okay, so we are getting somewhere. He was a child actor, it seems, and that's always a bad time.
Clad only in swaddling cloth at the age of 4, I was Cupid himself. But my arrows seemingly went astray, for the entirety of the audience fell in love with me.
Oh boy.
It is the stuff of legend. For tender as my mind was, I could not bear witness to my own greatness. But it does prove that I was indeed born great.
Ah, sheet is correct.
But you said greatness was thrust upon you.
Yeah. Was it thrust upon you, or were you born with it?
It was a matter of necessity. You may not guess it from my gentle speech, but I am no lordling. Selfishly, and surely to spite me, my father shuffled off his mortal coil when I was but a babe in arms, ere I ever graced the stage. It left my mother and myself in dire straits.
Damn, bitch, me too. Let's see. This could be personalization or emotional reasoning. Perhaps. And since it's been like 2 weeks since I've done this, I'm gonna check the guide. Let's see. So some of our intake information on Edmund is that he's afraid to get back into acting because he's afraid of getting anything but universal praise. He has a self-centered mindset, believes he determines what acting must be, diminishes the thought and opinions of others, champion gaslighter. He tried to convince me I was attacking him. He sees the world through theater, and next time I'd like to dig on where this all comes from, why this fella is so insecure. Okay, so where's our definitions? Because that is where I would like to go. So emotional reasoning is when we act like our feelings represent reality, but no matter how unhappy we are, feeling alone doesn't define the world. I asked Andy, ain't everything emotional reasoning? And he said no. Emotional reasoning specifically when we project our feelings onto the world. The world can feel like garbage when I feel like garbage, but that doesn't make it reality. Some examples are, I get the shivers walking into this ghost town, so it's gotta be haunted. I feel uncomfortable around them young vampires, they must be up to no good. This horse trader feels trustworthy, so he must be. Let's do the deal. Okay, so I don't believe this one in particular about his dad is emotional reasoning. What about personalization, though? Let's see. Often we assume things happen because of us. Heck, often they do. That's why we get tempted by personalization, wrongly linking external events to ourselves in cases where realistically there ain't no definite link. Sometimes people actually are out to get us, or we do cause events, but sometimes we're doing some personalization. Examples include, the Vampire Country Club doesn't allow cowboy hats. They made that rule just to discriminate against me. The cattle got spooked and ran off. They must have been scared of my face, not the thunderstorm. A vampire hunter found my lair. Something about me must have screamed, target me. So I'm thinking this might be personalization. Like his father shuffled off this mortal coil just to spite him.
Hold on a sec. You said your old man died selfishly. Well, what do you mean?
Well, what kind of a father drinks himself to death when he has a beautiful baby son at home? I at least waited until my son was older before I did the same.
How kind of you.
Eddie, come on. Listen to yourself. I'm sure you didn't die to spite your son, just as your pa didn't die to spite you. I ain't gonna deny his choices hurt you, but they weren't all about you.
Forgive me then. 'Tis ever the fate of an actor to feel every emotion more keenly. The situation my mother and I were left in was most precarious. We were the lowest of the low, you see. We lived in the rookeries and begged for our bread. But He that hath wit must make content with his fortunes fit. And oh, did we beg. She was my Queen Gertrude, and I her filthy little Hamlet. Did I mention I played Hamlet at age 14?
No, I hadn't heard that.
Well, anyway, my mother was a competent actress, but it was my wit alone that saved us from destitution.
This seems a little bit like some more personalization. No?
Edmund is discounting his mother's contribution to his survival almost entirely.
So he is disqualifying the positive of somebody else, as I suspected.
Well,
It sounds like your mother did a lot for you. I'm sure the people loved you, but could you have done it alone?
I suppose my dramaturgical purpose would have been lost without a scene partner, but it was I whom the throngs came to see.
Oh.
I ain't saying that ain't the case, but you might be disqualifying your mother's contribution to your greatness, right?
I don't see how that is relevant, but I suppose so. Let me continue unabated, sir.
Yeah, gosh, don't interrupt him.
Forsooth, I was so prodigious that, at the age of 7, I garnered the attention of one Reginald Flopbot of the Worthington Flopbots. 'Twas he who paid to get me off the streets and into the dormitories. He said, "Edmund, my cherub, the streets are not for you. One day you will be the greatest of actors."
Hey, how about that? You went and proved him right.
If Master Flopbot never gave a fig about my potential. I was a prop to him, a symbol of his generosity and high breeding. Every month, he would stage an elaborate party with all the well-to-do society of London. The dandy Fop would stand up on a dais and announce himself as the savior of the city's poor.
Oh.
That was my cue. I would be lowered down from the rooftop, wearing naught but swaddling clothes and a set of opulent wings. The gentry's delight was my dungeon, but I would flit among them, reprising my breakout role as Cupid by shooting little arrows of love at them.
Aw.
At the age of 7, it was most disquieting. At 11, on the cusp of manhood, the shame was too much to bear.
Dang, Eddie, that sounds awful. That Flopbot fella had no right to do that to you.
No, indeed. I remember my last performance quite vividly. The titters and leering glances from the guests linger ever in the back of my mind. And fool that I was, I played my part still. I should have plunged mine arrows into that fool Flopbot's chest instead of shaming myself.
That's a should statement, but we didn't pick should statements as one of our words. So which one could we use here? Labeling? He's labeling himself as a fool, so we could do that one.
You were a fool for playing your part. What choice did you have, Eddie?
It is simple logic. Only a fool plays the fool repeatedly. Many a bottom have I known that never played the Dane, preferring the comfort of a familiar role.
Well, Eddie, it's a little reductive to say that everyone who plays the fool is a bottom. But there ain't nothing wrong with letting your partner take the lead.
Oh, ye plebeian, I speak of Nick Bottom, from the Bard's Journey Through Whimsy that is a Midsummer Night's Dream.
How could you not have known that, Sam? Uncultured.
Oh, yeah. Even so, though, if you call yourself a fool, you're doing the same kind of typecasting, ain't you?
I suppose so. Regardless, I did not suffer the indignity for long. I swore that night to never be a puppet again. I stole away and gave myself to the mercy of Poseidon. The bargain was struck, and he swallowed up my hated swaddling clothes and wings. In desperation, I signed on with a mercantile shipping agency. I thought perhaps that my body would bend more than my soul. But oh, did I toil! Life upon the sea is most cruel. Biting winds did carve my visage. Low words hardened my heart, and heavy weights left me bent.
Yeah, that's what it's like working retail, too.
By the time I had fulfilled my bargain with the Lord of the Sea, I had become an older man, my efforts etched into every crease on my face.
Dang, well, sounds intense. How long were you at this job?
An age, a life, 6 months, each one a hungry leech torn from my bleeding body.
I can't say much. I'm sure 6 months on the sea had to be awful.
I am convinced this gauntlet was prepared for me alone. For ne'er in history has one so blessed by grace been subjected to such toil.
This guy's like the king of personalization.
Eddie, I gotta stop you there. It's gonna be a lot easier to accept your truth when you realize you ain't alone in your suffering. Hell, there ain't nothing more human than suffering. And historically, kids ain't had it so good.
But none suffered as I suffered.
Oh, okay.
A boy such as I was not meant for such misery.
Compadre, I had my first kill and no home at 12 years old. My brother had a stutter his whole life on account of the regular beatings my stepdaddy gave him. Maybe your suffering felt like the only suffering in the world, but it wasn't. And it'll hurt less when you realize you weren't alone. But keep telling me your story. I already know there ain't nobody like you in the world, so don't worry on that account.
I'm not sure if that was a compliment or like a jab.
Now then, at last, we close the circle as nature ever demands. I return to London and into the graces of my dear Uncle Moses and his comely mistress, Charlotte.
I'm put in your place a bit, hopefully. I did that last week. I gave him like a reality check and he got so mad. He said we were attacking him.
'Twas she who filled my dramaturgical quiver with dire arrows, fletched by the bard himself. And when my deft fingers plucked the bow of humanity, at last I was free.
Huh?
What?
I cannot speak more plainly. The good woman taught me the works of Shakespeare, and armed with this knowledge, I conquered the stage and saved myself from toil.
Ah.
Oh, well, right.
And so, you see, the die was cast from the moment I was born. The stage was made for me, and it was my skill upon it that saved me from the streets, and saved me once again from a life at sea.
That seems like disqualifying the positive again, because he's disqualifying what she did to help him. No.
Our dear Edmund believes fate has been waiting for him to take control of it. This sounds like a number of excellent cognitive distortions for you to find.
A number of cognitive distortions?
And so, you see, the die was cast from the moment I was born. The stage was made
There's a
for
lot
me,
going on here, for
and
sure.
It was my skill upon it that saved me from the streets, and saved me once again from a life at sea.
Let's try personalization.
Eddie, my man, I got some good news and bad news for you. The truth of the matter is, fate doesn't give a stable full of horse shit about you.
Oh! Damn! Sam coming in with the big guns.
Ain't none of us are that special. The world ain't waiting for us to show up. It's just gonna keep turning.
Perhaps you are right, my dear boy. You are correct. My success was not because of the fates, but in spite of them. The fates said, Edmund, you are a child of the slums. But I shamed the immortal hags in my own manner. The stage roused my spirit. Thus I knew my destiny lay upon it.
This sounds like a lot more personalization. No?
Edmund is conflating his emotions with
Okay.
divinations, but I would question his divinity.
Emotional reasoning.
You got it, amigo. You wanted the stage to be your ticket out of the bad days. Maybe that's why you were so successful. Your intrinsic motivation made you keep pushing to be better.
'Tis so. 'Tis so. The threat of the rookeries loomed ever upon my overladen spirit. Acting presented itself as a way to keep myself out of them. It is natural that I should weigh its importance so heavily.
I can see why acting means so much to you, Eddie. I probably feel damn near the same about the things that got me out of my bad days.
Thank you. Then you understand how my alienation from the theater does pain me so. And yet, the cure is as deadly as the illness. These damnable critics, not a single lifetime among them, and they deign to challenge my interpretation of the written word. They simply cannot relate to my singular experience. I will bare my soul upon that stage, and they will all sneer and malign it on their internet profiles.
They simply cannot relate to my singular experience. I will bare my soul upon that stage, and they will all sneer and malign it on their internet profiles. Do we think this one's personalization or emotional reasoning? I don't think it's emotional reasoning. I feel like it's probably personalization again. No?
For someone that lives for adulation, Edmund has a dim view of his fans, don't you think?
Is he overgeneralizing then?
They simply cannot relate to my singular experience. I will bare my soul upon that stage, and they will all sneer and malign it on their internet
I don't think it's
profiles.
labeling.
You're so certain that them critics are all the same.
Overgeneralization.
But I think that ain't being honest with yourself. Not all critics are bad. It takes work to be good at something, so of course the decent critics are gonna be rarer.
What you say rings true. Indeed, although past critics were flabbergasted at my portrayal of King Lear, not all were. And modern perspectives have affirmed that my interpretation was nothing short of brilliant.
I think I ran out of hot chocolate at the worst time. No, not the hot chocolate. That sounds so good if it wasn't like disgustingly hot outside. Let's see.
Yeah, you get it.
Actually, I would love some more coffee, but if I drink more coffee, it's gonna make me have to pee like nonstop. So I better not do that.
I took a look at your Wikipedia entry last night, Eddie. Well, maybe you've had a few bad critics here and there, but history says you're a legend, and your work speaks for itself.
Aw, Sam looked up your Wikipedia.
Hell, you were around before film was ever a thing, and people still remember you.
Ah, your words warm me, as an ersatz son for the one we have forsaken. With thy help shall I gird my soul mayhap, and grace the stage once more.
46F apparently. Oh, yeah, that's pretty chilly for sure. That's definitely like wrap up in blankets weather.
Well, let's talk about that then. What's the biggest thing stopping you from getting back up on that stage right now?
That it all simply might not be worth it. Why should I bare my damned soul when the audience hath not the sight to see it?
Maybe I can ask you a question then. What if there were no audience?
No audience? Do you know what a stage is, sir? It is a platform where life in brief may be portrayed. It is a platform because it is separate from the audience. Without such, the stage ceases to be a stage.
As in, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, does it make a sound?
Simply but elegantly put, my dear boy. Without the audience, the stage loses all meaning, like a monarch without a kingdom.
Disqualifying the positive, mayhaps? Without the audience, the stage loses all meaning, like a monarch without a kingdom.
Just a minute there, partner. You're saying that the stage is nothing without the audience. But I gotta ask you, where does the acting come from?
Ah, but from simple tongues, the purest of queries, narrow in breadth, but as deep as the sea. The source of acting is everything, my boy. The beating of every heart, the cry of every child, the fluttering of a butterfly's wings. The roots of acting are intertwined with those of life itself.
Okay, then why do you need an audience to do it?
So does acting come from the audience or from everything?
My dear boy, you prove yet again, as the bard oft did, that 'tis the fool who sees the truth as it is. I bow to your simple wisdom.
He's being quite agreeable today.
Thanks, I guess.
No gaslighting yet.
Let's figure out how we can bring it back to acting. Forget the audience. I know we can't see in mirrors and all, but what do you think of filming yourself?
Would that work? I guess so. In theory, the reason vampires can't see themselves in the mirror is because mirrors used to be made of silver. So could they be filmed?
Brilliant notion. Yes, I shall become my own audience. I shall bring myself to rapture. Forsooth, if I cannot pleasure myself, whom can I pleasure?
Yeah, right. True. You got me there, buddy.
We're still talking about acting, right?
Oh, my dear boy, the pleasures of the flesh are secondary to one who knows character above all else. Indeed, we speak of the noble art. I shall do as you suggest. If there is one on this lonely orb that can inspire an artist such as I, it is myself.
I ain't sure I'd put it exactly that way, but I think you're touching on the thing we've been talking about. The motivation's got to come from you, amigo.
We are of one mind, dear boy. Perhaps I left my muse in the mortal realm, but I shall find him once more. Not only for myself, but also for my public. Yea, the masses flock to my Wikipedia page as moths to a flame, each a silent plea for the return of the one true artisan of the stage.
Oh boy, the masses flock to my Wikipedia page as moths to a flame, each a silent plea for the return of the one true artisan of the stage. This seems like it could be labeling or overgeneralization. He could be labeling the masses as moths, or he could be overgeneralizing that masses are flocking to his page to see him return. Let's try labeling. Nope.
Edmund sees his individual qualities as spurring others into action. Does he assume too much about himself?
Personalization again.
Now hold your horses there, fella. You're reading a little too much into the whole
The
Wikipedia
horses.
thing. There's 1.5 million reasons why people might be looking you up. I mean, I hear tell the biggest Wikipedia page out there is the one for that coronavirus that got all them mortals all worked up. And I'm pretty sure they don't want that coming back.
Damn, Sam.
And thus dost thou scuffle a burgeoning friendship with the cannons of enmity. Why must you challenge me so?
That's my job, compadre. Ain't we had some good breakthroughs today? We couldn't have gotten there if I'd been busy agreeing with everything you said.
Very well. But I still say you are most vexatious.
I've been called worse. I think we got some homework for you, though, right? You're gonna film yourself and do some acting for its own sake. We'll check back in a few weeks. But Eddie, I think you're doing great. We made a lot of progress today.
He was a lot more agreeable today than he was the last time we had him.
Naturally, the human condition is my oeuvre. Nevertheless, you have been a competent guide. You have reminded me of what is most important in unlife. Me. I should like to give you a gift.
Oh?
Oh, come on. You don't need to do nothing like that.
Nonsense.
Oh my god.
It is meaningless to me, but it is beyond price for you. It is my headshot, signed with my autograph.
The corona.
Oh, thanks, Eddie.
Yeah, I guess vampires wouldn't have to worry about coronavirus, would they?
Cherish it always. If you help me to find my muse, then it is a gift even more precious. And I will find it ere we next meet. Of that, I promise you.
Well, let's not put the pressure on, amigo. Just enjoy some acting. That's all I'm asking for. I'll see you in a few weeks then, okay?
Verily, so it shall be. Godspeed then, boy. Thou shalt witness me new and on. Farewell.
A job well done, Samuel. I was particularly impressed at the way you challenged Edmund on what acting means to him.
That went way better than I expected.
Yeah, he's a weird fellow, but I think he's gonna do okay.
It can be hard for our kind to retain our intrinsic motivation. Something must keep him going. I do hope that he will find his. But you, Samuel, must rest. The work you have done in these past 2 months deserves to be celebrated. So do not linger here in this dusty room. Perhaps you can even be encouraged to dance.
Yeah, Sam, dance.
I think I'm gonna need a lot more therapy myself to get to that point.
Very well, Samuel. Then let us at least make sure you get well nourished. Find a friendly neck downstairs, my friend. You deserve it. And rest in peace.
I wonder if our lovely goth couple will be back.
Well, they say don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys, but maybe don't let them be actors either.
Yeah,
Time to
maybe.
dish with Crimson a little. I gotta talk to some more folks, though. Andy's mainly my teacher, so I'm starting to feel like Crimson's my only friend. Hey, only friend.
Excuse me?
What? Oh, yeah, Crimson. Hey, Crimson.
Are you blushing, vampire?
Dork.
No, that ain't possible.
It's all right. It's nice to hear from a vampire who's younger than Jesus. Now, let's hear how this week went before you go out there and find friend number 2.
All right, real quick. This client of mine, he had a real bad time as a kid. Well, worse than I did, it sounds like.
The calculating face.
But he found fame early, and now he's talking about fate and how he's destined for greatness again.
Met plenty of destined for greatness folk in D.C. I lost patience for it. How do you think you handled him?
I think we did pretty well.
I learned my lessons from the last session. He didn't threaten to jump off a cliff this time or anything. I gave him an assignment to film himself doing something he loves doing. He seemed excited about that.
You were either brave or adorable, Sam Walls.
There's nothing brave about it. As for adorable, well, some have used words to that effect before.
He's like, I know I'm adorable.
Okay, now I know you're confident enough to get out there. Giddy up.
Adorkable is exactly how I would describe it, yes.
Here we go. Right to the edge of the dance floor, but not on it. Don't want anyone getting any funny ideas.
Wouldn't want anybody to think you're here for a good time, Sam.
Once more alone, I see.
Hey, look, it's the freaky eyeball girl. She's so cute.
You scared the shit out of me.
But you can't shit. You're a vampire. Know that I see much, vampire, and that I like what I see.
I love her too. She's so cute.
Oh, it's her again. Well, I was hoping to find a mortal friend, or at least a willing Nick. Now, what do mortals of this time talk about?
Ooh. Be awkward about the weather, be awkward about everyday annoyances, or be awkward about music. Complaining's always a good way to make friends, but let's be awkward about music.
They ever play the classics in here? A little Oh Susanna or Old Folks at Home?
That's not what I meant, Sam. Why can't there be an option to not have awkward? Because look at him. Sam is awkward.
No, they don't. All your favorite songs have been long forgotten now.
Well, what songs do you like?
If I told you, would you know them?
Probably not.
Probably not.
I see.
You see a lot, don't you?
Why don't you tell me what you see?
This feels like a loaded question.
I see an interesting mortal. Someone observant. Someone who isn't afraid to have their own style.
That is what you observe. It is not what you see.
Oh, fine. You tell me what I see.
You see the long vein across my throat. It looks very juicy, doesn't it?
Well, now that you mention it, it does.
Then consent is given. Do not hesitate, vampire.
Oh, her bloomers were super cute.
Shucks, that was something else. You got good circulation there.
I see. And what do I taste like?
Kinda earthy. You could use some iron. What do you eat most often?
I eat a lot of carrots. They're supposed to be good for one's eyesight, and I like to see.
Yeah.
I see now that you are tired and wish to enter your state of torpor.
Well, maybe I'll see myself out then.
That's offensive.
Oh,
I'm going to leave now.
she doesn't find your jokes funny.
Shoot, was it something I said? Well, at least I got a full belly. And now, time for some shut-eye.
Good evening, Samuel. I believe you are seeing the Ancient One tonight, aren't you?
Oh.
Ancient One? She's 1,200 years younger than you, Andy.
I suppose I was engaging in a bit of labeling myself. You are, of course, correct. Still, her age presents a unique challenge. After one lives for 1,000 years, history seems less a line than a fixed point. Speaking of which, I imagine you can guess what distortion an old one such as Medi might fixate upon.
Overgeneralization?
It's gotta be overgeneralization. She really is basing all her opinions on her experiences when she was alive.
Very good, Samuel.
Yeah.
I heard tales of her island in my time, but they were never peaceful tales. I am not surprised she finds safety in her narrative. What other distortions do you think Medi might exhibit?
She labels people a lot. I feel like she's got... I'm trying to think of our conversations we had last time we were with her. I don't feel like personalization was a huge thing for her. Maybe emotional reasoning. Should statement queen when it comes to her subscribers. That's true. We'll grab that one. What should we do for the last one? I kind of feel like maybe she does a lot of black and white thinking or control fallacy. Like, she controls her followers. And by controlling her followers, she kind of like stays in control of her life and her situation. What do you think on that last one? Agreed? Yeah? Okay. So we'll do some control fallacy.
Good to go, boss.
Then I will leave you to it. Good luck, my friend.
Hello again, strange cowboy man.
She didn't call us mouse or anything this time, so that seems like an improvement.
It's good to see you again, Mitty. How's the past month been for you?
I do remember the last time we told her to, like, go outside and take a walk. I wonder if she's been doing that.
We went for a walk, just like you suggested. Didn't like it very much.
Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that. What was so unpleasant about it?
It's very loud outside. And dirty and smelly. Everywhere I walked, it smelled like mortal food. Just disgusting.
Ooh.
They knew how good it felt to drink blood. Maybe they would not eat so much of this pizza food.
Well, if you knew how good pizza food was, maybe you would not drink so much blood.
There's so many cars, too. I don't like cars. They have hateful faces. They look so angry all the time.
She must have saw a Cybertruck.
Stepped in wee, killed 7 men, and got splashed by a bus. It's really quite awful.
You killed 7 men? How the heck did that happen?
Let a girl have some hobbies.
Oh, that was inconvenient, you know. Normally I have my zealots do that kind of thing for me. They take care of the bodies. But I had to do all that silly work myself. And now there are always police sirens going off, which interrupts my streams and makes my followers very sad.
Why did that all happen?
Because they found the bodies everywhere, silly. I don't know what to do with my rubbish.
I meant why the killing? You didn't happen to make a few assumptions based on past experiences? Why kill a bunch of men?
Oh, Ravi looked at me. I know what mortals who look at me are like. If I let them live, they'd probably try to burn me as a witch. I could do nothing but kill them.
That seems a little bit like an overgeneralization.
Hold on a sec. You know what mortals who look at you are like. How do you know? Are you reading their minds?
Oh, yeah.
I don't have to read their minds, sweetling. I have known manlings for a very long time.
I get what you're saying. But here in this room, at least, we gotta be honest with ourselves. Do you really know what they were thinking?
Silly mouseling. I do not need to know what a wolf is thinking to know what a wolf is.
And we're back to labeling me a mouseling again. I feel like we've taken some steps back.
Does that mean every wolf you see is gonna try to eat you?
We don't have wolves anymore. They're all gone now.
That is incorrect, actually.
So maybe you can see where that kind of thinking can be a problem. It was scared people who killed all them wolves, right? Now I know that thinking doesn't come from nowhere. Old as you are, I'm sure you've seen some real awful stuff.
That's right. Haven't killed you, though. You are kind, little mouse.
Right back to the little mouse stuff.
Well, let's lay off the mouse stuff a little.
I'm sorry. I don't wish for you to scurry away into a little hole. Do you want to hear why I feel the way I do?
I would appreciate it greatly, miss.
Let me tell you about men from my time, then. Let's start with me, Da.
Daddy issues.
My father sold me and my mother to a chief of a rival clan for a golden necklace.
That is just horrifying.
Oh, don't fuss, sweetling. It was the most beautiful golden necklace. At least 2 girls' worth. Father got quite a deal, really.
That's not a great mindset to have.
You're using humor. but I'm sure that must have been heartbreaking for you.
It was common at the time. I suppose I should have been glad to be the possession of an old chief.
That's a should statement.
Whose should is that, matey?
Does not make it okay at all. No.
Why, everyone thought that. They were ever so surprised when I ran away. Did wish I could feel the way they felt, but I simply could not.
I think most of us vampires had it rough as kids. Maybe most kids have it rough. I don't know. But the one thing I do know is that kids don't come with the same shoulds their parents have got. I think we're learning all them shoulds ended up being a load of horse shit anyway.
Yeah, you tell her, Sam.
I knew girls who did as they were told. They would have been thrilled to have been the concubine of a powerful chief. But, oh, he was so old. Cormac O'Neill, the oldest man I'd ever seen. I remember thinking, where is his face? Because I could not see it under all his disgusting wrinkles.
How old was the guy?
38.
Back then, I'm sure that was a really long time to live.
That was pretty old in your time, huh? Wish I'd died at 38. Could have been a better looking corpse.
Well, he left an awful looking corpse. His face was all...
Oh, God.
I'm guessing you had something to do with that, huh?
Not me. My boyfriend, Abertach. He told me he'd set me free. I suppose he did. He created a delightful poison for me. He said it would make my dear master die in excruciating pain. So, one night I lay with him, and that means I did sex, and when he was pleased, I fed him the poison mead. Abby did what I couldn't, and the old fool finally died.
Abby did what I couldn't, and the old fool finally died. Let's see. There's a lot going on here. This does not seem like an overgeneralization. It's not a should statement. What are we thinking on this one? Emotional reasoning? Let's try it. No?
It sounds as though Medi did her fair share in freeing herself from captivity. It must have been terrifying for her.
That would be disqualifying the positive, though, and we don't have that one.
So, one night I lay with him, and that means I did sex, and when he was pleased, I fed him the poison mead.
What are we
Abby did
supposed
what
to
I
do if we
couldn't,
don't have that
and the old
option?
fool finally died.
Control fallacy, maybe?
You're saying your boyfriend killed your husband, but it sounds to me like you did the real work.
Panic, right? And just pick one and hope for the best.
He mixed up some herbs, sure, but you were the one that had to sleep with the old man and get the poison in him.
Abby made sure I knew it was because of him that I was free. He said it could never have happened without him.
He didn't have to be brave to mix up a potion. I think the bravery was all you, Medi. Don't disqualify the idea that the person who set you free was you.
You know, I think you're absolutely right, strange cowboy man. I did do all the work. But Abby never let me forget that he was the one who freed me. He wanted me to worship him.
A fella who demands to be worshipped is always going to be a dangerous man.
Dangerous men have always been drawn to me. Must be something about the way I am.
So what happened after you killed Cormac?
The Neil clan came after me and Abby. They found him, took their swords and went, stab, stab, stab,
Look how
stab,
cute she is.
stab, stab, stab.
She's so adorable. When she's talking about murder.
But Abby just laughed. That's how I found out he was undead already. Gave me the willies.
Munch.
When they couldn't kill Abby, they decided to kill me instead. And that made him very upset indeed, because I belonged to him.
That must have been terrifying.
I suppose. Mostly hurt. Lots and lots. Getting stabbed isn't much fun when you're immortal.
I ain't too fond of it as a vampire neither.
Abby fed me his blood, though, and then I became like him. When I woke up, the Nail Clan who tried to kill us were all properly dead. Well, almost dead. They still had a lot of blood left, and I was hungry. The Nail Clan was ever so cross, though. They captured Abby and sealed him in a tomb with some forgotten spells. He's still there, as far as I know.
What happened to you?
I didn't have a future with my tribe. I insulted both my clan and Cormac's clan by killing their chief. My only choice was to be alone. That's the wisest choice.
I agree, it's not fair. Not fair at all. Let's go back here. This seems like it might be emotional reasoning. Maybe. Let's see. What do you think on this one? Didn't have a future with my tribe. I insulted both my clan and Cormac's clan by killing their chief. My only choice was to be alone. That's the wisest choice. That seems like black and white thinking, but hug the psycho. She does need a hug. I feel like maybe she's overgeneralizing. No?
Betty seems to think in extremes, not uncommon for one as ancient as she is. She had more power in her situation than she can admit.
Okay, but that's a black and white statement, and that's disqualifying the positive control fallacy, maybe?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I reckon you've always had more power than you think. I mean, being immortal's a pretty good start. Heck, you were savvy enough to get out of that whole situation with Cormac. I think you always had options, Maddie.
You are kind to say so. I guess maybe it's better to say there was only one choice I wanted to take.
Then I think that was the right choice to make.
If you didn't have all those whiskers, I would pinch those cheeks.
Okay, time to stop teasing poor Sam. So you've been living alone ever since then? Well, let's focus on you, huh? You say you've been living alone ever since then?
Of course, my silly cowboy man. We aren't mortal anymore. We will always end up alone. Why waste my time?
Oh man, we always end up alone? Overgeneralization. No?
Again, Betty deals in extremes.
We don't have black and
One
white
life
thinking.
often makes one's interpretation of life stark.
Of course, my silly cowboy man.
Andromachus, we
We
don't
aren't
have that
mortal
option.
anymore.
Let's
We'll
try
always
control.
end up alone.
Come on,
Okay.
Maddie. You're distorting a lot of reality there. All vampires ain't lonely. Some of us choose to be, but not all of us.
It's weird how much control fallacy and Nosferatu thinking overlap each other, that they're almost interchangeable.
Sure, mortals have a habit of dying, but there will always be more of them. Not to mention all the vampires out there. Heck, I used to be in a vampire gang. Cult. Well, kind of both. They weren't good company, but they certainly weren't lonely. I mean, ain't we talking? Well, there's loads of vampires out there who think like you do, and they're fulfilling their own prophecies of loneliness.
You're being a mean little mouse now, and I don't like it very much. Maybe I should have killed you after all.
She's being a little brat now.
I'm trying to help you, Mitty. The world's changed a lot in the last 1800 years. A lot of it bad, but a lot of it good too. By and large, most people ain't burning witches and selling their daughters. That sort of thing's frowned upon by mortals these days. There are laws out there to protect folks now. It ain't like in old times.
May I tell you a story, little mouse?
Of course.
All right, tell me a story.
Once upon a time, there was a very pretty young lady. Pretty, but also crazy. Like me.
She's labeling.
I don't mean to interrupt your story so soon, but you didn't think I was gonna let you get away with that one, did you? Don't call yourself crazy. You've been around way longer than I have. You gotta know that sanity is relative.
I know I'm crazy, though. Everyone tells me so, even my zealots. They like that I'm crazy.
You know, crazy ain't supposed to be a nice word. So why are you using it? Why are you creating a reality where what you are is crazy?
You are an annoying little mouse sometimes. Very well. I won't call myself crazy in front of you.
It's a start.
May I continue my story now? The pretty young lady Mary had moved in with her cousin, Mrs. Haltridge. At first they got along quite well. But one day, Mary started acting naughty. She would shout, act unladylike, and even say that Jesus Christ wasn't very special. Mrs. Haltridge liked Jesus Christ very much and wanted Mary to like him too. When she didn't, this embarrassed Mrs. Haltridge. She began to think something was wrong with Mary. After all, who didn't like Jesus Christ? Mrs. Haltridge said that Mary had begun to vomit up pins and buttons, nails, glass, and bits of wool. Instead of being grateful for the free gifts Mary was vomiting up, Mrs. Haltridge said that she had been attacked by 8 witches in spectral form.
This is a weird story.
Now, it just so happened that all 8 of those witches lived very close to the town where Mrs. Haltridge lived. Despite their magical prowess, the 8 witches were captured and put into the stocks, and all the people of the town were told that the women did not like Jesus Christ at all. So the Jesus Christ-liking people threw rotten vegetables and poo at the witches. And, just for fun, they gouged out the eye of one of them. Then they kicked the witches out of town and lived happily ever after. The end.
Well, that ain't a pleasant story.
Oh, it was very unpleasant. It hurts very much to have your eye taken away.
Oh my goodness.
But I like my new eye. It's fun.
Oh my goodness. Well, that explains the heterochromia.
I was 1500 summers old or so when that happened. The world hadn't changed much then. I don't think it's changed much now.
I'm sorry that happened to you, Meddy. You're right. Folk can be pretty awful when they get riled up. That ain't changed.
Oh, don't be sorry, little mouse. I like my new eye. Also, the story has a happy ending.
Right? I also didn't see that coming. I wouldn't think a vampire would be able to lose their eye like that. Like regeneration and whatnot. She is super cute. I love her.
Oh yeah? What's that?
That accent is just like the cherry on top, right? It's such a good accent. Like her voice actor, chef's kiss.
After I had my eye taken away, I took Mrs. Haltridge's parts away too, one by one until she died. It was so much fun.
Let a girl have some hobbies.
That's a little morbid, Meddy.
Morbid Mary? Oh, I like that. It's very clever, little mouse. But you see why I'm careful now?
Yeah, I get it. But look, there's one thing that's different now, and that's...
The United Nations exists. What we're doing right now. Liberal democracy has solved everything. What we're doing right now.
It's what we're doing right now. And all that time up till now, therapy ain't never existed. We only just started looking at ourselves in the way we think. Before recent times, we only looked at gods, government, and society. The self is a new frontier, and we're learning stuff we never considered before. The frontier can be kind of scary, but being on that frontier means moving forward. Come with me.
Silly mouse. If something feels scary, that means that there must be something to be scared of.
That sounds like emotional reasoning.
Now hold your horses there. Yeah, it might be true that sensing something scary means there's actually something scary out there. But that don't make it necessarily so. If fear keeps us from exploring, we can't experience new things, good or bad.
I suppose that's true. But good things are temporary. Bad things can last forever. Would you like to hold my eye?
Yes, I would love to hold your eye.
Oh, that's all right. You keep it.
Oh, come on, Sam.
I get what you're saying, Meddy. I ain't saying not to be careful. Just acknowledge that a feeling doesn't make reality. I know you've been through a lot and you got damn good reasons for being careful. But there's a reason you came to me, right?
Yes, but it wasn't because I wanted to go outside. It's because of my fans. They're very demanding.
Right. That's why we were talking about your going for walks and went down this rabbit hole.
Or, in your case, a mouse hole.
Maddie, stop it with the mouse thing.
Anyway, therapy usually ain't about just one thing. It's about lots of things. If the problem is your fans, we gotta imagine unlife without them, right?
Don't want to lose them all. Some of them are gentle. They're too weak to hurt anyone, which is why they don't.
Are we labeling them gentle or are we overgeneralizing? They're weak. That sounds like labeling. What do you think? I feel like it could go in either direction. Overgeneralization and labeling seem very close, kind of like the Nosferatu thinking and the control fallacy. Let's maybe try labeling. No?
Beneath her smile, Medi has a darker view of humanity than most. Is the only reason the weak do not hurt the strong that they cannot.
Overgeneralization then?
You really think weak people would hurt others if they were stronger?
Little mouse, I've been alive for a long time. I believe what my eye shows me. Yes, if one is capable of hurting another, they do.
They can, but they don't always. You ever seen them capybara animals?
Capybara.
They're dang massive rodents. Could do some damage if they wanted to, I reckon.
Oh, yes! Oh, they're very cute. People like to share animated pictures of them in my community.
Some folk are like that. They just want to sit around and have someone scratch their bellies.
Is that what you want, little mouse? Do you want me to scratch your belly?
Sam.
What? No, I'm just saying. Don't assume everyone's out to hurt someone. Yeah, it happens. Of course it does. But that kind of thinking ain't giving folks their fair shot.
Don't know what I'll do if I don't have my followers. I can't live the way I used to before the machines took over. Oh, they expect so much of me now. They send me messages all night and all day. They need content. God, if I don't give them their content, they'll all leave. Their attention spans are like those of little bugs, but they're not as cute.
Labeling? Oh my god,
Medi has
overgeneralization
millions of
again.
followers, and she expects the same of all of them. This does not compute, as I hear the children of the sun say.
Does not compute.
Okay, I think we need to talk about moderation.
Oh, I already have moderators, silly mouse. Any major content creator has to have them.
I don't know what that stuff means. I'm talking about moderation in your thinking. What if you gave your fans only what you felt comfortable giving?
Doesn't matter what I want, silly mouse. They just want me to overreact to video games.
Control fallacy? Doesn't matter what I want. They just want me to overreact to video games. That could be overgeneralization or it could be control fallacy. Nope.
Again, Medi seems to view her followers as cattle. Are all mortal...
Doesn't matter what I want.
Overgeneralization.
You're thinking
then.
that mortals want only one type of content is forcing you to make only one type of content. Your assumptions are keeping you from doing things you like, and you deserve to do things you actually enjoy.
You're very kind. I thought cowboys were supposed to be tough.
More overgeneralization.
Who says I ain't? I just don't have nothing to prove no more. Here, why don't we try something new for next time, since going out didn't go so well last time. I want to challenge you to take a day off. Don't answer any messages, don't post no content. Just do something for you and you alone. Take a sick day.
But we never get sick. We're dead people.
They don't know that, do they? One day, that's all I'm asking for. You need to give yourself a little space.
Very well. Since you've been a very kind mouse, I'll do it for you.
Don't do it for Sam, do it for you.
I'd prefer it if you did it for you, but we'll work toward that, huh?
Oh, I wish I had a big piece of cheese to give to you right now.
I would take a big piece of cheese right now.
A lactose intolerance is kind of a side effect of death, but I appreciate the sentiment. I'll see you in a month then, okay?
Yes.
Great. I'll see you then.
Bye.
You are doing well, my friend. I know we old ones can be rather inscrutable sometimes.
She's human. We all are, ain't we? The way I see it, we all got the same problems one way or another.
She is super relatable, honestly. I think she's probably my favorite one that we've worked with so far.
Your wisdom never fails to impress, Samuel. I believe it is time for you to follow your own advice to Miss Mitty, however. All work and no play makes for a dull vampire, as they say.
Yeah, you're probably right. I might hit the hay early and do a bit of reading.
If you must take out some aggression on hay, then please do so. I shall see you soon, my friend.
Good night, Andy.
If you must take out your aggression on hay, that's not what hit the hay means, goofy.
Dang, I wonder how I'll feel about humanity when I'm 1800. Heck, I wonder whether there'll even be a planet.
That is the question, isn't it?
I guess it's time to drown my existential woes in blood. Howdy there, Crimson.
You're sounding a little weary there, cowboy. You getting enough to drink these nights?
Is that a euphemism?
Oh yeah, that ain't it. Just existential ponderings.
That's just my specialty. What's eating you, buckaroo?
It's this old client I got. She's been watching humanity hurting itself for 1800 years. Every time she expected better, she got hurt. She ain't wrong to mistrust mortals.
That's a tough one. What do you do with someone like that?
Well, I tried to guide her to look inward like I do with everyone. People are people, but so is she.
Just gonna go take out some frustrations on this hay. Oh, the cowboy way.
How do you think she took it?
She took it okay, I guess.
I think she appreciated the focus on her. I can't answer for all humanity, but maybe she can get answers from herself.
I think you could stand to listen to yourself, Ranchero. You could have been a mean old Dracula and nobody would expect anything different from you. Reckon there have always been people like you, no matter how bad it's been in history.
Dang, Crimson. I can see why Andy respects you so much. You done some living, sounds like.
Death at the door can put things into perspective. I get where your client is coming from. Changing the world isn't gonna happen, but we can at least change ourselves.
I don't think that's true. The country I left definitely ain't the country I was born in.
The wheels turn a little slowly for us mortals, cowboy. Back in DC, I was trying to push policy to do something about our poverty problem, but the kind gentlemen across the street were pretty happy to make things worse. When I got my cancer diagnosis, that was my wake-up call to stop getting disappointed and start living with the little amount of time I had left.
Working at a bar is more rewarding than being a member of the bar, huh?
Probably.
Not bad, cowboy. It's got its charms. Here, I whipped up something special for you.
Ooh, that looks delicious. What is it?
That ain't half bad. Got a refreshing taste.
Rose hips. Just a little something extra. Been experimenting with some herbals for Andy.
Guess old dogs like us can still learn new tricks. Thanks, Crimson. I think I'll hit the hay now.
Wink, wink.
You hit that hay, Desperado. I'll see you later.
Got a lot on my mind tonight. I think I need some rest. Now, what should I do to relax?
Oh, he put the autographed photo of the actor over here in his little chest. That's adorable. Let's see. Reflect on the day with Emerson.
I always pick up a little extra perspective from Ralphie Waldo. Emerson, that is. Let's see if I can find a good passage. Bingo. In the woods is perpetual youth. Within these plantations of God, a decorum and sanctity reign. A perennial festival is dressed, and the guest sees not how he should tire of them in 1,000 years. In the woods, we return to reason and faith. There I feel that nothing can befall me. No disgrace, no calamity, leaving me my eyes, which nature cannot repair. In the wilderness I find something more dear and connate than in streets or villages. In the tranquil landscape, and especially in the distant line of the horizon, man beholds somewhat as beautiful as his own nature. Ain't that the truth? Future's always ahead, no matter how old we get. That's enough for one night. Time to visit Dreamland. Maybe I'll see my princess there.
Princess, his horse.
Samuel, my dear, I do look forward to our chats. How are you feeling tonight?
I gotta confess, boss, I'm a little down. I love helping other vampires, but getting therapy myself sometimes ain't much fun.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I understand. Looking in the mirror is difficult for any human, much more so when they don't cast a reflection.
You ain't kidding. It just seems like there's always work to do, you know? Like my walking in the woods for 90 years wasn't nearly enough time.
I dare say you are correct. I believe that we must never cease our walking in the woods. There is no mystery deeper than that of our own existence.
He does need a new horse. Not that anybody could ever replace Princess, but like the man needs a pet.
Where do vampires come from anyway?
Well, Samuel, when two vampires love each other very much...
Sir.
Come on, boss, that's not what I'm asking. Where do we come from?
The answer to that is much older than recorded history, my friend. But let us focus on you. We should start with some meditation and determine what thoughts are most important to you right now.
Oh boy.
Close your eyes and envision your place of comfort.
I'm so bad at the meditating part. In real life and in the
good at
game.
being a therapist. Is my hat weird? Ich bin Sam. Ich bin ein cool man.
I don't know what that
Election
means.
looks real bad back home. Dr. Drain thinks I'm brain damaged.
Dr. Drain thinks I'm brain damaged. Why did my mom have to marry that asshole?
The Senora hates my guts. Sure wish you were still here, Jeb.
Who's Jeb?
Actors need help, that's for dang sure. Wish I had more book smarts. Bet he scares the heck out of me. You're an idiot, Sam, hurting all them folk.
What?
Why'd I join up with a gang in the first place?
How are you feeling, my friend?
I agree. Calculating face, confused, brain loading.
Pretty good. I gotta say, my head's been a mess of thoughts lately. I think I was afraid of therapy today.
Why is that, my friend? What thoughts came up?
Well, after last time, I think I was stewing a bit. Just being real angry at myself for joining that nasty cult in the first place.
They preyed on the vulnerable, as cults tend to do. If you had been a man of means with a robust support system, I doubt they would have noticed you.
Yeah, I know. And honestly, I'm mad about that too. I mean, my country did me real wrong and put me in that sorry state to begin with.
What happened?
This sounds like a proverbial can of worms.
Yeah, I agree. Let's open it.
Yeah, you could definitely say that. After we talked last time, I kept thinking, what could I have done differently? And the answer amounts to horse shit.
Oh?
All that law breaking I did, all that murdering and stealing and doing no good, that was my country failing me.
Can we unpack that?
Let us slow down, Samuel. You are making a bit of a logical leap. I have great admiration and empathy for you, my friend. But it is disrespectful to those you hurt to blame anyone but yourself.
I mean, I guess I could have died. Suppose that would have been kinder. But that's a lot to ask a boy to do.
I am not suggesting that you should have died. And I do not suggest that your country was without fault. However, your country had its role, and you had yours. You are using a cognitive distortion called blaming. When we engage in blaming, we ignore or wipe away our own faults, attributing them to someone or something else.
New term, let's go. That should be a pretty easy one.
Our faults are precious, Samuel. We cannot be ourselves without them. Do not wipe them away.
I mean, I just wish things hadn't been the way they were. If my country had taken a better trail, maybe I would have turned out different.
Differently. I am sorry to interrupt, but Senora Deste might correct you less gently. Now then, perhaps it would help to put blaming into perspective. It is always humbling to see ourselves in the mirrors of our minds, is it not? Let's try some examples. See if you can tell when I am blaming. I turned into a bat the other day and flew right into a tree. Who put that tree there?
I mean, that kind of sounds like blaming. Somebody else's fault that you flew into a tree.
Blaming someone else, or the tree, for you being clumsy, that ain't gonna do anyone much good. I smacked into my fair share of trees back when I was a youngster, but that was definitely my fault.
Of course, there is no shame in being a novice flyer as a young vampire, but we can be insecure creatures. That's our humanity at work. I was unable to perform in bed with Crimson the other night. It must have been her fault.
Also blaming.
Dang, that is some blaming. Takes two to tango, boss. Maybe there's some bad blood brewing between you two. Man, I wish I hadn't heard about it.
Sam's like, that's none of my business.
Do not worry, my friend. Crimson and I bring each other great satisfaction.
All right, I get it.
I said nothing lurid, Samuel. Why are you so distressed?
'Tis the American way.
Singing great satisfaction. It's like hearing your parents talking about their sex lives. I mean, not that you're... I mean, forget I said anything.
He's so awkward.
All right, Samuel, let us move on. The interface on this widely used new vampire dating app is so modern. How do they expect anyone to use this cursed thing?
Come on now, boss. Not every app out there is designed too good, but we can't expect machines to run themselves. Well, that's some blaming right there.
Oh, Vatty.
You are correct, Samuel. It was only hypothetical, of course. I do endeavor to keep up with the times. By the way, thank you again for teaching me Control-V and Control-C the other night. What a delightful trick.
Oh, yeah. Way faster than going through the edit menu all the time.
You youngsters always find the latest tricks. Let's keep going, though. Did you see the football game the other night? My preferred team played with great skill and should have won. The referee was clearly an agent of the Dark Lord.
I don't know, maybe he was, but that's blaming.
And now hold on, Andy. I think I saw the game you're talking about, and you're just blaming the ref for your team's mistakes. You got a great tight end, but one that plays a little dirty.
Excuse me?
Good.
I didn't mean it like that. Oh, heck, I can't talk right today.
It's quite all right. Isn't getting dirty the point of play?
Oh,
It is the fault of the cursed sun that we must live in darkness.
blaming.
Well, the sun can't help being the sun, so don't go blaming it. The way I see it, we got our place, and that ain't nobody's fault.
Well done, Samuel. Perhaps the sun is even more brilliant in our memories, and seeing the real thing would spoil it.
Probably.
Well, that's one way of thinking about it. I think I get it. I ain't trying to erase what I did. I'm just bitter that I felt like I had no choice at all. And it all goes back to the United States taking my daddy away for their manifest destiny. I'm mad at him too, dying for his country. What kind of nonsense is that? How does country pay him back?
I'm not disagreeing, but
By making my poor ma marry a drunk who beat the daylights out of her and his kids? Ain't no damn wonder I turned out the way I did.
alright, ain't nobody made your mama marry a drunk.
That must have been devastating, Samuel. Countries are not human. They cannot feel, and stories such as yours prove it.
I mean, what the hell, Andy? My daddy's corpse didn't give a shit about no United States of America. It's kind of funny when you think about it. He died fighting the British so the U.S. could say they own Missouri. Who the fuck cares?
I have never loved Sam more.
I'm telling you, Andy, the best thing about being dead is realizing how little that nationalism crap matters.
Desire for identity can create monsters worse than we. What happened after your father died?
Well, we didn't have nothing. The money was running out, so my ma got married to a hard man who drank even harder. He beat up my older brother, Jeb, for fun. And once Jeb started fighting back, dear old stepdad came for me. And that's when my brother killed him.
It sounds like a tragedy from my own country's mythology. I am sorry that such a thing happened to you, Samuel. Your brother was brave.
No kidding. We went on the run together, but he was the one who kept us alive and fed, mostly through stealing and begging. Once we stopped being cute, begging didn't work anymore, so we moved up to robbing and killing. Killed my first man at 12, and then it got a little too easy.
That is young. I cannot imagine how difficult that must have been, Samuel.
Yeah, well, nobody told me to do it. Like you said, that was all me. I don't think anyone was surprised either. When my brother and I rode into a town, you should have seen the way people looked at us. They knew we were trouble, and we were determined as hell to prove them right.
Aha, a moment, Samuel. I believe this is an opportunity for some growth.
It's them distortions again, huh?
Them darn distortions.
To err is human, as they say. Do not be discouraged. There is something in what you just said that you cannot be sure of. Can you tell me what it is?
The people knew we were trouble.
I guess there ain't no way of knowing that people thought we were trouble.
That's right, Samuel. There is one way of knowing exactly what they were thinking, and that would be to read their minds. Thus is the cognitive distortion called mind reading. Yes, We can weigh evidence and make predictions, but never with complete certainty.
Mind reading seems like it's going to be a good one for us to use with Nettie.
I was a dirty little thieving murderer. I don't blame him for judging me.
You're labeling.
First, that's labeling. Second, one of those people might have been patient and gentle, one that had an experience like yours. You cannot know. With your mind reading, do you see how you made everyone your enemy?
Yeah. You're right. You're damn right.
No one expects a child to be perfectly aware of themselves and the world, Samuel. Remember, start with compassion for yourself. Here, let us do an exercise to help you recognize mind reading. Jesus Christ would have disliked the idea of anal intercourse.
Mind reading.
I know that's mind reading right there. Unless you asked Jesus Christ himself and he told you, there's no way you'd know how he feels about butt sex.
Thank you, Sam.
Very good, Samuel. Many in my time have claimed to know the mind of Jesus Christ, and none of them have ever even met him.
You were there when he was kicking around. You ever meet him?
No, that part of the world was never really vampire-friendly. The chair you're sitting in is one of his, though. Magnificent, isn't it?
That's an old-ass chair.
Jesus Christ made this chair?
I bought it cheaply before he became a big deal. He was certainly ahead of his time as a carpenter.
Dang. Now I feel awkward sitting in this thing.
It's more than 2,000 years old, Samuel. It is still just a chair, and has experienced millennia of past wind. Don't worry about it.
Thanks.
Crimson is upset with me because I forgot to take out the garbage. I know because she told me so.
Well, that's definitely not mind reading if she told you she's mad at you.
I sent my friend Vlad an internet message, and he left it on red. He must hate me.
Mind reading.
That's some mind reading for sure. There's no way you know what Vlad's thinking. Maybe he wasn't ready to answer, or maybe he forgot.
Maybe he's got ADHD.
Excellent, Samuel. That's correct. There are endless reasons why Vlad would leave my messages on red, and only Vlad knows them. Reading too much into an internet message is a massive waste of time.
Now, the Pony Express was a lot healthier, I think. This internet stuff makes people get real nutty.
Mortals are in more of a rush than we are, I'm afraid. Let us continue. One of the patrons of my club was having dirty thoughts about me. I know because I read his mind with my vampiric powers.
I mean, technically it's mind reading, but it's not the kind of mind reading they mean.
I told our bouncer, Bert, a funny joke the other day. He was quiet, but very amused.
Mind reading?
How the heck would you know if Bert was amused by your jokes? That's clearly mind reading.
You are correct, Samuel. No one knows what Bert is thinking. I like to think he dreams of butterflies. But who can say?
I don't think he's thinking of butterflies.
Then you are mind reading, Samuel. Let Bert be Bert.
Yeah, I guess so.
I believe you now understand that mind reading may have closed the door on some opportunities for you.
I suppose. I can't really know either way, but I guess that's the point of all this. Knowing what's real and what's not.
Exactly, Samuel. So tell me, what happened to you and your brother?
You don't know already. I thought we were famous Wild West outlaws. They called us the Handsome Boys, on account of the fact that we were young and good looking. I think we made as close to a living as possible while keeping up a life like that for some 35 years. They stopped calling us the Handsome Boys eventually. Mostly they just called us those two sumbitches.
Some bitches. Love it.
Jeb and I married a pair of sisters, even talked about settling down in some kind of fashion. I guess we got greedy though. One last big job, as they say in the pictures. Met this fella in a saloon who'd heard of us. Went by Ernie. He said he'd help us take down the Pioneer Missouri Bank. A take of $30,000, split 3 ways. That's about $1 million in today's dollars, but that kind of money was unthinkable back when. We got the money all right, but my brother got shot in the head. Dead before he even hit the ground. I didn't know who did it. So in my rage, I killed every soul in that bank. Ernie and I ran off with that dirty money, but weren't nothing the same after that. When she heard the news, my sister-in-law was screaming so loud she scared the coyotes away. My wife left with her that night, and I didn't see either of them ever again. Not sure I wanted to. I had $15,000 and no interest in spending it. Just sat there in a sack. When Ernie invited me to join his gang, I saw no reason not to.
Sage.
I'm pretty sure I signed that devil's contract as soon as I started killing them folks in the bank.
I am sorry, Samuel. That is a truly horrifying story. I can hear the pain in your voice. Your brother was precious to you.
Yeah. He wasn't a good man, Andy. but he kept me safe. Without him, I knew I'd be doomed. I was certain I had no choice but to join the Mystic Bastards. Yeah, I know. Cognitive distortion.
I know you know, Samuel. A new one, but I think you can identify it on your own. What is the cognitive distortion you are displaying now?
I was too sure of my fate.
I was so sure I was right to join the Mystic Bastards. Ain't nobody could have convinced me otherwise.
Indeed, Samuel. This cognitive distortion is known as being always right. And when you are always right, your choices are limited, even if they lead to doom.
That almost feels like it'll be another good one for Medi.
We become so convinced that only we have the appropriate perspective, even in a world of infinite possibilities.
That might be a good one for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde over there, whose name I forgot.
One would expect immortals to be immune to this distortion after seeing their beliefs challenged over generations. But we are just as susceptible to being always right. Let's try some examples so you can identify when I am always right. I have the experience of ages. My authority cannot be questioned.
Always right.
Okay, Boomer.
Oh, damn.
Excuse me?
Just something I hear the kids say when old mortal folk are acting like they're always right.
Nice pickup, Sam.
The folks born after World War II are real good at destroying the world, but they assume age leads to wisdom. It ain't necessarily so.
You are always right about that. Well done, Samuel. With my multi-generational economic expertise, I am confident that market conditions will result in mass layoffs in the next quarter.
Always right?
Oh, no, you can't know the layoffs are going to happen after the next financial quarter.
I did not say that I was certain,
Oh, okay.
just that I had earned confidence in my prediction.
Gotcha. I see the difference.
Modern stock markets are run by a cabal of dark cultists, and one can make educated predictions about their behavior.
I don't think that's true, but...
Wait, are you serious?
Yes, they sacrifice all to the dark god of ever-increasing profit. You should know this, Samuel. Their dark gospel reigns supreme in your land.
Alright.
Oh, right. I guess I never thought as institutional investment bankers as dark cultists. But you're right. That's exactly what they are.
If only they had chosen a more ethical god than unrestrained capitalism.
Yeah.
I know that turning another into a vampire inevitably results in resentment.
Yeah, it was Dr. Drain, and what was the other one? Something... It wasn't lewd. It was like lurid or something. Dr. Drain... We could just look. Client notes. Dr. Drain... Does it say... Lord Luridus. That was the other one. Ridiculous. I know that turning another into a vampire inevitably results in resentment. Always right?
That sounds like you're always right. I know a lot of us vampires ain't too happy with our lot in life, but we ain't always resentful.
Lord Lurid.
That is correct, Samuel. Of course, we must be careful when choosing whom we turn and when. Choosing to live forever is not a choice casually made.
It ain't usually a choice at all.
But we will endeavor to break that cycle, my friend. We have enough clients already without having more resentful immortals running around. Let us continue.
Ain't that the truth?
I know for a fact that vampires become misanthropic as they age. I do not need your perspective.
Always right.
And now hold on, you ain't always right. You thinking we're gonna turn into misanthropes is limiting you from making new vampires, but that's just your thinking.
Very good, my dear Samuel. Caution is warranted when bringing a new soul into the dark, but I must consider perspectives other than my own. I have not had much good fortune with my children of darkness, but I am indeed not the only judge of character.
You got kids, Andy?
I had many dark children before I recognized the gravity inherent in doing so. I only wish more of my brethren could learn what a responsibility it is to begin the unlife of another. I know the internet is a passing fad. I have seen technology come and go, so I can trust my own expertise.
Always right?
I think you're doing a little always right there, Andy. A lot of folks had unwavering confidence that the fax machine was gonna stick around forever, but they weren't right neither.
Truly? I still use my fax machine. It is the preferred mode of communication among vampires here in Germany.
Heck, I guess that just proves no one is always right about technology. I think I get it, boss. If I had found folks to listen to, other than myself, maybe I wouldn't have joined up with Ernie's gang.
Perhaps, perhaps not. You had plenty of reasons for making the choices you made. Reflecting on them is what helps us to grow.
I do apologize for how much I'm yawning. It's this damn heat.
Yeah, I'm a lucky fella all in all. I did some stuff with those vampires that I was pretty sure erased any humanity I had left. But I was wrong. Them transcendentalists I hold up with were ready to help me no matter how nasty I was. And I know I've done a lot of thinking on my own, but I owe them everything.
I've done a lot of thinking on my own, but I owe them everything. Is that so, Samuel? Can you point out your own distortion there?
Disqualifying the positive?
It's my old favorite sneaking up on me, disqualifying the positive. I did plenty of work on myself.
That's right, Samuel. And why were the Transcendentalists able to help you? We just went over it tonight.
Why were the Transcendentalists able to help you? I wasn't always right.
I realized I wasn't always right. I was ready to start receiving help.
Excellent, Samuel. Your capacity for self-reflection, and so quickly, is truly inspiring. I almost feel as though my blood is circulating on its own.
Oh, come on, Andy. I'm just a fella.
I'm just a guy.
You have earned a reprieve from disqualifying the positive, my friend. Embrace it.
Nice.
I believe we have had a productive session today. Let us not press matters. This is difficult work, and you are handling it wonderfully. How do you feel?
You know, I feel okay. Somehow it's better than feeling good. What happened is what happened. Some bad stuff happened to me, and I did some bad stuff. None of it lasts forever. That's the nice thing about having all the time in the world.
Your trials have made you wise indeed, my dear Samuel. Now rest, my friend. You shall soon share your wisdom with your clients. I wish you a good night.
Yeah, I believe it's early coffin time for me tonight. Have a good night, Andy.
You as well, Samuel. Rest in peace.
Aw, shucks. He's proud of us.
Samuel, greetings. You look a bit pale. May I offer you something to drink?
Yeah, you got any drinker's blood?
I know you are joking. You will not dilute your blood before a session.
Yeah, I know, you're right. I just don't know who I'm meeting tonight. Is it gonna be Dr. Drain or that Lord Luridus fella?
You only met a single individual last time, and you will meet only a single individual this time. Do not let Dr. Drain's avoidance of accountability confuse you.
You saw the guy, though. Lord Luridus ain't nothing like Dr. Drain.
And why do you think that is, Samuel?
Lord Luridus is a demon or something. It's easier for Dr. Drain to blame Luridus. I do love a wholesome Andy moment. I do too. It's very reassuring, very calming. His voice is soothing, makes me feel good.
Well, maybe it's easier for Dr. Drain to blame Lord Luridus.
Correct, Samuel. A mild change in personality would be within Dr. Drain's control. Luridus is not, and therefore, Dr. Drain relinquishes control. Prepare yourself, my friend. Let us find the darkness that lives within Dr. Drain.
Okay, so we know he makes a lot of should statements. I kind of feel like he thinks he's always right, so I kind of want to go with that one. I feel like he did a lot of disqualifying the positive because he's done a lot of work, but he doesn't always see his accomplishments. Let's see. I wonder if he's going to do a lot of blaming. I wonder if if Dr. Drain is going to blame a lot of things on Lord Luridus, or if Lord Luridus is going to blame things on Dr. Drain. And since it's a new term, I think maybe we should take it. Yeah, always blaming each side for the issues. Okay, so we'll for sure take that one. And now we have a fourth thing we could do. I feel like a lot of these kind of fit his personality. I feel like he's got some control fallacy issues. I do feel like he's got some black and white thinking. What fourth one do we want to go for, though? I definitely wanted to take those two new terms we got, though. I don't remember him doing a lot of mind reading. Maybe your replies are a bit delayed. Yeah, I did notice the stream seems to be a little bit more delayed than usual. So I'll sit here and wait for a second while you catch up. There's no way for me to like make the delay shorter either, which is odd. I feel like emotional reasoning maybe isn't his shtick, since he's more like logic brain scientific. I could maybe see personalization a little bit. Control fallacy. I do feel like he's got a lot of control fallacy issues, for sure. So let's go with that one. Confirm.
All right, I think I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Oh boy.
Do not fear, Samuel. I shall not let Dr. Drain hurt you, no matter what he is calling himself. Do what you do best.
Hey, we're a cowboy with a gun. I'm not worried about him hurting us.
I will, I promise. And here he comes, whoever he is today. Doc.
Alright, so far he's Dr. Drain today.
Somewhat taciturn today, then. Well, don't be upset with me. I did warn you about that beast. At least now you recognize the urgency in being rid of him.
Okay, stop taking drugs. I know it's not that easy. I know, but like...
Perhaps now we can stop beating about the bush and actually fix my addiction problem.
I'm here to help, but if we're gonna lick this thing, we gotta do it honestly. And that means getting to the root of the problem.
We're gonna lick this thing, huh?
I tire of this self-examination process. There must be something efficacious that I can do. Perhaps some sort of aversion therapy.
Brother, no.
I am willing to do whatever it takes to make that villain just go away.
Then you gotta be willing to address the big old elephant in the room.
Drugs.
And what is that?
Lord Luridus is kind of hot. Lord Luridus ain't that bad. No, you and Lord Luridus are the same person.
You and Lord Luridus ain't two different people. You keep talking about him like he's someone else, but you both got the same brain in there.
Complete and utter nonsense. You've met him. We share absolutely nothing in common. And what's more, I am fully aware that he hates me. Take a look at this note he left on my desk.
That's supposed to be you there with the micro-penis?
Indeed. Juvenile humor, to be sure. Certainly nothing I would produce.
Ain't he got the same penis, though?
Quite so. I have no doubt he does the most terrible things with it.
So somehow he's got a different brain than you do, but the same penis. Something ain't adding up here, Doc.
I resent what you are suggesting. I have no effect on what Lord Luridus does.
I have no effect on what Lord Luridus does. Okay, so he could be blaming Lord Luridus, but that could also be a control fallacy because he's saying, I have no effect on it. Let's try blaming, since that's our new term, though. How does that even work, right?
I know you're a pretty responsible fella, but you're giving Lord Luridus more credit than he deserves.
What on earth are you talking about?
You know that old stereotype mortals like to spread about us where we can't go into a place until we're invited?
Is that not true?
A ludicrous idea with no basis in scientific truth.
Okay.
Ain't you giving Lord Luridus your permission to come in and do what he does when you take that plasma stuff?
Yeah.
I didn't invite him in the first time. I had no idea what I had created. That his presence would become an addiction was not known to me.
Dr. Drain, you're a scientist. Your stock and trade is in facts, ain't it? Let's leave thought out of this for now. You gotta be my scientist here and stick to what we know.
Very well. Yes. The genesis of Lord Luridus was in the actions and choices I took. Are you quite satisfied?
Doc, we ain't here for my satisfaction. Do you really think that?
Well, the fact that I am upset right now certainly lends credence to the idea that you are trying to shame me.
I won't lie to you, Doc. The people that Lord Luridus has hurt probably would have a bone to pick with you. But I ain't here to punish nobody. That ain't the way to help you. In this room, we're working together. You're doing the hard work, and I'm just giving you support. Catch my drift, partner?
and so you do me even greater shame through kindness. I cannot win. Perhaps I should simply let that beast, Lord Luridus, have his way with me.
Should statement.
Come on now, Doc. You're jumping right to doom there. There's so many ways this therapy thing could go for you. It ain't we destroy Lord Luridus or Lord Luridus wins. Jumping right to catastrophe just ain't realistic. Already you're fighting him by being here. That means there's definitely something in the middle. And working together, we'll make things better. Maybe not completely better. This work ain't never done.
Of course, I am forgetting myself. I'm not usually prone to extremes. I shall attempt to be more mindful.
I do feel like you are a little bit prone to extremes. Just a little bit.
I ain't expecting you to be perfect, Doc. And I don't want you to expect perfection from yourself either. What I'm asking you for is self-compassion. That ain't erasing blame. It's just approaching yourself from a place of understanding. That's a scientific method, ain't it?
I doubt many in the scientific community would agree with such a statement, but I believe I understand the thrust of it. We cannot address facts if we mask them in emotionality.
That's exactly it, Doc. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Indeed. Thus my attempt to synthesize the thought properly.
Well, thank the dark powers that made us. Someone in here's the smart one.
Very well. We shall take a strategic, scientifically sound approach. We will agree upon facts, develop hypotheses, test and validate.
Whatever helps, buddy.
If I rely on the science, I will never be wrong.
Always right.
Hold on a sec. Before we jump in, Doc, I gotta challenge you. Even science ain't gonna make it certain you're always right. The answers science gives you might not be the answers that are best for you. I just want you to keep your mind open, all right?
My mind is always open. I'm a scientist.
I'm just gonna reflect that back to you and see if you think that's true. You're saying being a scientist means your mind is always, without fail, open.
Well, I suppose that sounds a bit ridiculous. Very well. I shall endeavor to ensure that my thinking is flexible.
Well, sounds good to me, compadre. Let's start assembling them facts. Can I ask you some questions then?
You may. Let us begin.
All right, so you told me that the thing that makes your plasma addicting is how good it makes you feel when you wake up from it. From your scientific perspective, what makes it feel good?
From a chemical perspective, good feelings, or positive emotions, are the result of neurotransmitter action. Considering the specific emotions felt in the immediate moment are contentment and satisfaction, it is certain that I am experiencing an oxytocin and dopamine release. It is a primal limbic response. In laboratory settings, we observe a constant drive in animals towards stimulating the release of amygdala-receptive neurotransmitters.
I think you're gonna need to boil that down for me, Doc.
I did not come here to teach, but so be it. Ask your questions.
The limbic system?
But what's the limbic system do?
The limbic system functions as the emotional center of the brain, responsible for emotional responses such as joy, fear, and anger.
So it's like the part of my brain deciding if I should be scared of a rattlesnake, or happy about a belly full of blood?
Precisely. It plays a crucial role in forming memories and making decisions based on emotional experiences. Often called the lizard brain, it's evolutionarily one of the older parts of the brain, indicating its fundamental role in regulating survival instincts.
I operate purely on lizard brain.
I've been called lizard brain before, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't a compliment.
Alright, tell us about those neurotransmitters, Doc.
What's this about neurotransmitters?
Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that neurons use to communicate with each other. For example, social bonding reliably triggers a release of oxytocin, creating a sense of security and attachment.
So, if I'm reading you right, when I'm feeling all snug after a good feed, is them oxytocin neurotransmitters doing their thing?
I just noticed his name. It's just me with the D I lack. That's my lizard brain. That's good though.
Exactly. This process is an integral part of our
It is
brain's
true.
reward system, encouraging behaviors that are perceived as beneficial for our survival and well-being.
Rain, but with the D.
So, survival feels good, basically.
Yes, though I would not publish such a statement in an academic paper.
How's all this science stuff relevant?
So what's all this stuff really mean in the end, Doc? Why's this neurotransmitter stuff even matter?
An intriguing question. Naturally, emotion does not have a practical evolutionary application on its own. However, these emotions signal to the reptilian brain whether or not we are under threat.
Oh, well, dang, now I think we're getting somewhere. I think the answer's right in front of us.
Oh? And what is it that your rooting, tooting brain can synthesize that mine cannot?
Probably that you are getting good brain chemicals when Lord Lurid is in control. And your brain is reacting positively to it when you wake up. He needs a psychiatrist. He needs to live in the woods. Lord Lourdes feels safer than Dr. Drain.
You don't feel safe on your own. Taking that plasma forces you to get that neurotransmitter hit.
An intriguing theory. However, evidence stands against it. Like it or not, I am a vampire. The only thing that may threaten me is the sun or a more powerful vampire. I should not be experiencing feelings of mortal danger. I am not immortal. Logically, I should know such a thing is ridiculous.
That's a lot of should statements going on there, brother.
Well, there's them should statements again, Doc. It doesn't matter what logic says. You still got that part of your brain that says it's in danger, and that part doesn't care about logic.
An astute point, and an inconvenient one. That we should be saddled with such vestigial, primal concerns is most unfortunate.
Can't avoid the fact that we still got them human concerns. At least we don't gotta poop, huh?
That would be nice.
Oh dear, and you are doing so well. At least I have nothing to fear from you.
It's true, though. We're still animals, partner. We gotta satisfy the animal. Just not through pooping.
Thank you, Sam.
But we are immortal. Why do we have animal needs, fears, and emotions? What possible use do they have?
Well, these emotions can also be positive things. So do we think maybe this might be disqualifying the positive?
Sometimes, Doc, you are just too smart for your own good. You're logicking away all the good things about being human. I mean, let's say we freed ourselves from those biological concerns. Got rid of all them fears and insecurities and quirks. Why are we doing anything then? I don't know about you, Doc, but I don't want to turn into a computer. All them great discoveries and works of art came from our humanity.
Perhaps it is so. Do you know, I met Isaac Newton several times. The young fellow was motivated indeed, but it was his human vindictiveness that made him so effective. All those motherfuckers who called me a nerd are going to pay, mark my words, he would say. Or something along those lines.
Damn.
So, he was making sure none of those motherfuckers could hurt him.
That was certainly part of it. It was not just the love of science that drove the man. It is such a disappointing notion, however, to think that we cannot transcend our reptilian brain, even when we are beyond death.
We're dealing in facts, though, and I think what we're coming to is that your reptilian brain doesn't feel safe.
Which is absolutely ridiculous, but I must admit that it is somehow true. What a devastating revelation. Dr. Drain, for all his scientific achievement, is just an emotional little laboratory rat who bases all his decisions in fear.
He's disqualifying the positive again.
Man, you just jump right to that extreme. You're probably the smartest fella I ever met, Doc. You ain't a science god, but who is?
Right, he's dropping motherfuckers left and right.
I think there's a lot of room between being a lab rat and being the perfect logical being.
You are, of course, correct. I'm letting my emotions get the better of me. Most unscientific.
I've always said lizard brain, but I don't know. I think it's just because I really like reptiles.
Doc, I want to go back to one of them things I was telling you about in our first session, and that's self-compassion. Let's say you had some vampire apprentice, a scientist like you, who didn't know nothing like what you know, and said they were down on themselves for all the reasons you are. What would you say to them?
Well, I would explain that progress is non-linear. The scientific method, in fact, celebrates failure. That which does not conform to theory still informs theory.
Any chance you could put the scientist away and talk to their human side?
Well, I suppose I would say that it is fine, that all things are temporary, and the universe does not care to condemn them.
Snake mom to snake auntie, yes.
So how can we get you to say them things to yourself, Doc?
My situation is not the same. I was trained in the age of discovery. I bear the responsibility for that age.
Why do you solely bear that responsibility, though?
But if this project of mine, to create the blood that will sustain the world, is not what I am here for, then what is my purpose?
Well, let me ask you. what's the purpose of a gopher?
Rodentia geomedy. Rodents endemic to North America, known for their tunneling ability and as agricultural pests. I believe they are the prey of owls, snakes, and coyotes, and are omnivorous themselves, consuming vegetables, insects, and small mammals.
I actually did not know that gophers would eat small mammals.
I wasn't expecting you to be so thorough. I don't think I knew half that stuff.
I have come to learn nearly everything there is to know about mammalian biology as a result of my research. Please get to the point.
I think I forgot what it was now.
That is not encouraging.
Hold on a sec, I think I've got it.
Gophers are real cute. He's like a gopher, or gophers have a purpose.
Gophers have a purpose. Driving people crazy, that's what. Used to wreak havoc on the farmland back in Missouri.
Absolutely ridiculous. That is not their purpose. It's an ill-informed anthropocentric philosophy defined and subscribed to entirely by said anthropocentrists.
I didn't know bugs could do that.
Anthropocentrists, not arthropods. Humans. Homo sapiens. I am saying that you have created a purpose for the gopher that the gopher is entirely unaware of.
So, who made your purpose, Dr. Drain?
What? Well, I did, I suppose.
So if you made it, you can change it, right?
But how can I change my purpose? I have always been a scientist. So that's what I am.
All right, well, let's take that scientific approach and try to figure out who the man behind the scientist is.
Very well. If we look at the behavior of our subject, myself, we can infer a few things. If we examine my behavior, one can draw a comparison to a threatened higher-thinking mammal. I spend much time in ensuring personal safety and security.
What about your more peaceful moments? What do they look like?
I believe these feelings are only medically induced through my special plasma. However, Dr. Drain appears to be at rest when he is full and satisfied.
And your synthetic blood doesn't do that for you.
I am forced to admit that at present, it does not.
Dr. Drain, what do you think of drinking something a little more fresh and human?
I will not. I do not have to. That depraved vampire, Lord Luridus, is the source of all that is base and vulgar about my person.
Blaming.
Doc, you're blaming Lord Luridus for something common to all vampires, including yourself. We need blood. That's just how it is. Ain't Lord Luridus's fault. Now, I know you ain't comfortable with that need, but you can't offload everything you ain't happy with onto Lord Luridus. That just makes him worse.
You have not been listening to me at all if you believe I have absolved myself of all vampiric frailty.
I didn't say that. I'm saying you're distancing yourself from your needs by saying they're Lord Luridus's needs. Well, what if you indulge Lord Luridus once in a while? Maybe you could keep him from coming out.
Do you not understand what I have been working toward for the last 400 years? I will finally be able to transcend this thing that I am. I shall be a parasite no more.
Well, that sounds like labeling. This could be control fallacy. Let's try it.
Come on, Dr. Drain. You're a scientist. You know mankind ain't got that kind of control over nature. Ain't you ever seen that movie where they bring back the dinosaurs?
That film was scientific drivel. Its simplistic understanding of DNA should have alienated its audience immediately. But then, who can guess with Americans?
Okay, that didn't age well, considering what... I won't get into it.
It was a good story, though. And in the end, it wasn't a story about DNA. It was a story about controlling nature, which I'm sure you know ain't never worked.
Your argument does not hold weight when your source of truth is a fantasy film.
Dr. Drain, we really got to talk about some kind of middle path here. Back home, we tried the whole abstinence thing a few times, and it didn't go too well. We tried to stop drinking, and that just made people only do bad drinking. We tried telling teenagers sex was evil, and that just made them want it even more while being ashamed of themselves. What if you just tried to do some of them things Lord Luridus does? Just don't do them the way he does.
I find the idea utterly repellent.
Yeah, but then you go and take that plasma, and Lord Luridus makes the decisions. We don't want that, right?
Fine. Fine. I'll drink some blood.
Oh no.
But I warn you, Sam, the price of failure is most dear. If I should lose my humanity, all of humanity will lose.
Control fallacy?
Doc, you really can't be putting the weight of the world on your shoulders. That ain't something you can control, compadre. Now I know you're a capable fella, but the world is gonna turn with or without you.
You think so? I can't imagine someone with my highly rational mind feeling so strongly if my prediction weren't firmly rooted in fact.
I know it all seems real heavy right now. Just show yourself a little compassion and patience. Beating yourself up over a future that ain't happened yet isn't gonna help you. We need to go back to this thing I brought up before. You're a smart fella, Dr. Drain, but sometimes you're forgetting vampire commonality. We've all felt like the world was ending or that we're awful monsters, but them feelings are our perceptions alone.
Yes, I'm aware. Perhaps I've been a little too human in my wobbles. However, you forget my training in history. I am not an average vampire. I was trained by the great Professor William Harvey. I have had 4 centuries to unlock the secrets of animal biology. I have a duty to humanity and to my own legacy. A duty I should not fail in. Otherwise, what was it all for?
Should statements?
Hold your horses there, amigo. You say you've got a duty to humanity? Well, that ain't scientific at all. It ain't just anthropocentric, it's Dr. Drain-centric. Nobody said you had to do anything. Remember when we first started talking, I told you about them should statements? That's what you're doing, compadre. Just remember that them shoulds are yours.
Yes, I must be frustrating to you, Sam. I invoke the same delusions over and over again.
Hey, come on, Doc. You should be proud of yourself. You know what the difference is between you and vampires who never improve themselves?
He's here. I could say he's smarter than they are, or he's not concerned about being cool. But no, he's here. He's putting the work in.
You're here. You've made a commitment to getting your head on straight. And you're getting there, my friend. Already you're making some big changes and investing in yourself. I can see it. So let's cut Dr. Drain a break. How about it, amigo? He doesn't need the weight of the world on him. There's only one thing he should do, and that's have a little understanding and empathy for himself. You get me?
Yes, I get you. Very well. I shall try to keep a clear head. And I will arrange to drink some real blood. There's plenty of it in the lab. I shall just liberate some of it.
Good man. We'll talk about how it's gone next month, all right?
Indeed. Until then, Sam, and thank you for your patience.
I ain't got nothing but time, amigo. You can thank me by being patient with yourself.
All the same, you have my thanks. I shall see you in a few weeks then. Farewell.
Well done indeed, Samuel. I think we are starting to see a new version of the good doctor in the making.
And he didn't even have to take any drugs while he was here.
I hope you're right, boss. That fella's awful hard on himself.
That is normal, my friend. Being a vampire takes a lot of self-acceptance. He is only taking his first steps in discovering this.
Yeah, fair enough. It took other people forgiving me for me to forgive myself.
And now you pass on this gift of compassion to Dr. Drain. Now, Samuel, the evening is still young. See what the night has to offer downstairs.
That sounds good, Andy.
Rest in peace, my friend.
I always come out of the doc sessions feeling dumber than ever. I'll check in with Crimson. She's always got some bartender's wisdom to share.
We haven't checked our journal in a while. I'm sure he's written some new things in here. Okay, let's see. Who should we start with? Well, I guess we're starting with Dr. Drain. Session 3. Great session with the doc tonight. Sometimes his being a big ol' nerd can be a real help. He's looking at his problem more rationally now. Likes to blame Lord Luridus for his more animal needs. That is, he denies his own needs and Luridus fulfills them. Has a lot of his identity tied up in being a rational scientist. Wants to transcend being a vampire. Must drink real blood. I encourage the doc to drink some real blood. I think his head ain't clear because he's starving. I think he gets that it's a biology thing. Alright, so we'll probably meet up with Isabella next. We had our second session with Edmund. Edmund's tied his whole identity to the stage because the stage saved him from the streets when he was a kid. Obsessed with the audience, disqualifies the positive about any other actors, definitely suffered abuse as a kid, still thinking the same was he did as a kid. That should have said ways, there's definitely a typo there. That the stage is always going to offer salvation. I suggested Edmund try acting for its own sake. He forgot the fun while he was looking for safety. I hope it goes well. And then we did a second session with Medi. Medi's got a real good reason for not being fond of mortals, but it might be narrow in her worldview. Real bad history, was sold to a rival warlord and killed by a wizard. I guess wizards are real now. Abandoned by her own clan after she killed her new husband and became a vampire. Was pilloried? I think that word says pilloried. As a witch in the 1700s and had her eye removed. She thinks it's pretty funny. Sounds disgusted by her followers. I'll try to encourage Medi to do more things she likes for their own sake and get outside more. And then we probably have some more journal entries. Let's see where we left off. I know... Alright, that was the actor. So, May 10th. So I know the internet's been driving the mortals batty, but dang if it isn't affecting us vampires too. I've got a new client that has half the world watching her play video games online. What's that all about? Next thing you know, they'll be making cinemas where you stand behind the screen and watch folks watching the movies. The world sure is a strange place. Andy says that it's for new clients, and I'm grateful for that. I've been feeling a little cooped up here in the city. I'm taking a weekend trip to the mountains out in Harz, gonna take the Autobahn. I'm past fear and death anyway. So we did read that one last week, or the week before, sorry. I had a great weekend. I really needed to get out in nature again. I saw a whole bunch of funny birds I never saw back at home and just enjoyed staying out under the stars. When I did run into mortals, they didn't speak a lot of English, but they could definitely do the accent. I guess they think all Americans sound like me. I couldn't get too close to him though, so I had to live on local wildlife blood. I drank from a boar. Not bad, but I could have done without the bristles. I'm back in Leipzig now. I just learned 3 more cognitive distortions. I think I'm getting the hang of this thing. Oh, he really didn't write too much. Okay, so on June 10th, it's been a hell of a month. I've got a full caseload of clients. I'm picking up a new friend at the Emmernacht, and Andy says I've been doing a great job. I learned 3 more cognitive distortions tonight, and I think that I'm really getting the hang of this thing. I'm also learning a lot about Crimson. There's something special about that lady. I can see why Andy's a fan of hers. Seems like she could be doing a lot more than running a bar, but maybe that's me doing some should statements. Oh, I took a little trip to Dresden. Heck of a place. They had this emperor named Augustus the Strong who spent all Germany's money on porcelain. Wish I could have been his therapist. And then there's nothing else to read. Alright, let's check in with Crimson.
Howdy, Crimson. Looks like a nice crowd tonight.
They're always a nice crowd, cowboy. We like to maintain an asshole-free zone.
I can respect that.
I'll try not to be an asshole then.
I'm not worried about you, cowboy. You had a session tonight, didn't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, with the doctor fella. We had a hard talk about what being a vampire means. He's having a hard time coming to terms with it, even after 400 years.
I can understand that. I've stopped aging for the last 20 years and don't know how I feel about it yet.
Good times.
How do you think it went with him?
It went pretty well this time.
I think we're finally getting somewhere, actually. It's funny, a lot of vampires forget they're human, but he keeps forgetting he's a vampire. But just like we can't opt out of being human, we can't opt out of being vampires either.
Must have been a hard talk, cowboy. I sometimes wonder what I am. Staying the same age, drinking Andy's blood to live.
Vampire adjacent?
Don't get me wrong. I like not being dead, but I still feel like I'm living on borrowed time.
Is this a good time to ask why you don't just join the dark side? It ain't that bad being dead.
I'm just not sure what I'd do with forever, you know? Eternity's a long time.
Yeah, I think a lot of us vampires can't answer that question either. And I don't think there's one answer anyway.
There you go. So I guess I'll keep putting off the question.
But nobody's rushing you, Crimson.
You think I'd let anyone? But thanks for listening, cowboy. Now why don't you go mingle? There's a new fella in the kink room who's very interested to meet you.
A new fella, you say?
I guess I'll go be social then. Thanks, Crimson. Wait a sec, that ain't...
Greetings, my child.
Who's this?
Keep your distance, amigo. I know our kind ain't had good history, but I ain't in the mood for an exorcism or nothing.
Ah, my child of the dark. If I were to exorcise you, nothing would be left when I was done. Only the good Lord is free of sin. We are all children of darkness.
Holy smokes, what Bible have you been reading?
I know my scripture, my son. However, I am by scripture and dark metal ordained, not by any church of man.
Shocking.
So, you're some kind of freelance priest?
Oh, Sam, honey.
Yes, I suppose I am. It is the only way I can give succor to those who need it most.
So I gotta ask, seeing as we're in a kink room, what kind of sucker are we talking about?
I follow in the path of the Lord. I share my body, and I share my blood.
Ain't this a little blasphemous for your kind?
To whom, my child? God is in everything, including you, sweet vampire. Can God blaspheme against himself? I merely wish to give comfort to those who live in darkness, and so I choose to live in darkness with them. Come, my son. I shall give succor to you.
Well, all right. Maybe if you stop calling it that.
Chomp. Sam, why you gotta make it sound like that?
Thou shalt not want, my son. Are you comforted?
Yeah, I guess I am.
I know those of my faith have hunted your kind. Perhaps we fear our own sin, so we seek the sins of others. I seek only the Lord in everything. As do we all, whether we...
You ain't wrong, I suppose. Hey, a little awkward, but what's your name, fella?
I am Kieran. It means little dark one. The night always did call to me.
Well, Kieran, I'm Sam, and I appreciate the blood, but I'm gonna turn in. A little sleepy now.
It sounds a bit, yeah, agree? A little bit,
Go with God, my child of the night.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that.
Quite a colorful cast so far. So
A
to
fine
speak.
evening to you, Samuel. Are you ready for tonight's session with Signora Deste?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're making some good progress.
That is wonderful. Remember, though, that the road to inner peace is not a straight line.
Hold on. We gotta look at Signora's stuff a little bit real quick before I pick what we're gonna deal with. Maddie, Edmund. Oh my god, this book is so hard to navigate. Okay, here we go. Dr. Drain. I could find interest in this little dark one. Oh, I'm sure you could. Let's see. So, she thinks her life was meaningless because modern art is meaningless too. Apparently, this Rise of the Spacewalker movie set her off. She's high-minded. Major issues with her former husband. Thinks most people are corrupt, especially menfolk. Used to be a devout Catholic, not so much anymore. Likes to be in control, maybe a lot of control fallacies. So we're definitely gonna pick control fallacy. Let's see. She's hopping mad that they don't meet her standards. She died so she could control her family. It didn't work. Her husband and son were both major disappointments to her, especially her son. She really hates the Spanish, so she's a little bit racist. Might be a little obsessed with her late husband's failings as a man. She's still holding a lot of anger. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, though. Next time I'll see if I can't push her a little more. Okay.
True enough. I like to say I didn't make my path. Nature did.
Samuel, you have the makings of a poet.
Oh, I meant it more literally. When I was walking in the woods, I just walked where the land led me.
But you see, this is a wonderful metaphor. If there is a valley between two mountains, that is the path nature takes us on. We often choose to climb the mountain instead when the easier path is made for us.
Great point.
Your experience guides your intuition more than you might expect, my friend.
Guess it's that peasant wisdom the Signora mentions.
Be careful with the labeling, my friend.
I didn't mean it in a bad way. I ain't ashamed of being a peasant. I'm just folks, as we like to say.
I have this like little tiny hair that's tickling my face, driving me insane. Okay.
I can see why the Signora has become quite fond of you. Are you prepared for your session with her?
Yeah, I think with our progress, there might be some other distortions to focus on. Let me think.
Okay, so we've already got control fallacy picked because we know that's a big one for her. She labels a lot. I feel like she thinks she's always right. I think she's gonna do a lot of blaming. I'm also feeling overgeneralization with her. Let's give it a go.
All right, locked and loaded.
The people of your country have so many colorful phrases having to do with firearms. I do not understand the obsession.
America, fuck yeah.
I can't explain it neither.
I shall leave you alone with the Signora, Samuel.
Howdy, Senora. Good to see you tonight.
You are looking forward to seeing me?
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely.
Well, sure I was. You're an interesting person, Senora. It's a privilege to get to know you.
I suppose you have learned something of manners yourself. I thought a lot about the things we talked about last time, you know.
Oh, yeah? What about exactly?
About how foolish I was for wasting my time for so long fighting against reality.
Oh, here we go. We're already starting off. Okay. How foolish I was for wasting my time for so long fighting against reality. Is she labeling herself a fool? Oh, this might be a control fallacy.
Now hold on, Senora. Maybe you were fighting reality some, but that doesn't mean you were wasting your time. That fighting with reality is just part of what makes you human. It's your experience, your journey that you're learning from.
But if the aim was to control my family, I failed to achieve that aim.
Yeah, but that's real all-or-nothing aim, Senora. It's easy to fail when the conditions for winning are so narrow, right?
Yes. You are, of course, correct. Would that I had listened to the simpletons in my life earlier.
Well, that's a should statement, but, labeling, maybe?
Maybe you can start by not calling them simpletons.
I meant it as a compliment. I wish I could be a simpleton.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
I'm gonna need you to elaborate on that.
I mean what I say. Look at me, with my grand plans, my status, my dynasty, and all the pain that they have brought me. Who is the true fool, me or the simpleton?
Well, what if we're not fools or simpletons? What if we're just people being people? There's a lot of room between worms and gods, Senora.
Again, you prove your pastoral wisdom.
Well, I'm glad you've been doing some thinking. You were putting so much pressure on yourself to be the one keeping your family going. I can tell how much it was weighing on you.
She called him a simp.
I spent so long trying to fix them, trying to transform them into something that they were not. May I talk to you about my ex-husband, Sam?
Oh boy, here we go.
Of course you can. I know he gave you a lot of grief.
He hurt me deeply, in so very many ways. He was the start of all my delusions because I thought I could fix him. I thought Frankie was the way he was because I was not an ideal wife. That perhaps he would have been faithful if I had been as beautiful or fertile as a Medici. I know I have been arguing with reality, as you have said, but the idea of a fruitful marriage, sanctified by God, this was the only reality I had.
She is seeming a little bit softer. I definitely think everything that they've talked about so far has been working.
But that reality did not match with mine. God could not have blessed both our marriage and riddled Frankie's penis with French diseases.
Never mind. Here we go.
French diseases?
We used to call syphilis the malfrance.
Diseases don't belong to any nationality. You sound like a certain politician from back home.
Do not insult me. Have I not suffered enough with my husband's disgusting malady?
She's so funny.
It was a painful lie to live. I could only conclude from my sorrow that God was testing me. Endlessly.
Well, there's a lot going on here with her. This sounds like she was blaming God in this situation. No?
The Senora was seeking a justification for her feelings, and I believe she found one.
Always
It was a
right?
painful lie to
No?
live.
The Senora was seeking a justification for...
It was a painful lie to live.
I could only conclude
I
from
could
my
only
sorrow that God
conclude
was
from
testing
my
me
sorrow
endlessly.
that God was testing me. Endlessly.
More control fallacy?
I want to challenge you on something there. That sounds like a kind of hopeless statement. Like you're doomed to keep being tested on God's terms.
Perhaps it was hopeless. As you said, Isabella d'Este and Francesco Gonzaga could not change their natures.
That's true, but here's the thing. Does that mean you were doomed, or were you just doomed on God's terms? I think this just needs a little reframing. I know you were dealt a rough hand, but doesn't necessarily mean you were being tested. Sometimes we just gotta make do with the hand we got. What I'm suggesting is that then and now, a radical acceptance approach could have helped you.
What do you mean?
You could have become a nun. You could have had a secret arrangement, or you could have been polyamorous. She likes religion a lot. She could have become a nun?
You could have become a nun, right? That would have been a way out of your situation.
Sam, you know me better than most at this point. Could I have been a nun?
I mean, you were devout. Yeah?
Well, I guess you could have been the queen of the nuns.
That was not an available position.
She would have considered it.
Maybe it wouldn't have worked out then.
You could have been polyamorous, or you could have had a secret arrangement. I feel like she's not going to be open to polyamory, but we'll try it.
How about being polyamorous? That way you'd still have each other at home, but you could have gotten different needs satisfied by different people.
Please. It was the 1490s. Such things were not acceptable unless you were a pop singer like Bartolomeo Tromboncino.
Oh yeah, Bartolomeo Tromboncino. Can't forget him.
Do not be impertinent. He was a Frotolo star. Every man and woman dreamed of sleeping with him, including myself.
I figure Fratello would have been illegal. All that rubbing in public.
Bro.
Porca miseria. A Frotolo is like a madrigal. He was a madrigal singer. You are thinking of frottage.
Oh yeah, sorry. Guess them mortals downstairs got to me.
I guess you could have had a secret arrangement, but see, that seems like it would go against her religion.
You could have had some sort of secret arrangement. That was pretty common back then, right?
Oh, we did have a secret arrangement. The arrangement was that he kept secrets from me and I pretended not to know about them.
Had you ever considered talking about it?
I could not. You do not know what it was like back then. A woman, even one such as I, was always subject to her husband. I did not have a say in his affairs. I had to play the part of the good wife and mother. You must understand, I only earned my significant power by playing the societal game.
But he knew you were aware of his indiscretions, didn't he?
It was hard to deny when he approached me with that rotten thing between his legs.
She's so funny.
So why not bring the issue out in the open?
He would have become angry, I am sure. Perhaps he would have beaten me and taken away the privileges I had worked so hard to earn. Perhaps it is pointless to tread over the past again and again. What has happened has happened. It has been nearly 5 centuries. I should not let the past haunt me so. If I am true, Sam, I am still very angry about all the lies I was told. I may be harboring some resentment.
You don't say.
You will understand when I tell you of Frankie's greatest cruelty. I will tell you that the man, for all his fighting spirit, had very weak sperm, for he could not sprout a male seed in my womb.
Blaming?
Hold on, are you really blaming your husband's sperm for your having girls?
It could not have been my fault.
Senora, even I know it's just luck of the draw. I think you know that too.
Fine. Perhaps I just wanted to insult Frankie. But I will continue.
I'll allow it.
My first child was a girl. I could not have been more embarrassed. Or so I thought, until I had my second child, who was also a girl. I will tell you, Sam, I was a young woman in mourning. I did not emerge from my chambers for weeks. The next time, finally, I had a boy, my beautiful Federico. He was such a charming child. He would entertain me so with his clownish behavior.
She's going all the way there. All the way there, back again.
May I show you a picture, Sam?
Well, sure, let's take a look.
Look at him. Isn't he beautiful? He could have been a movie star or a model today, don't you think? Admit it, he is the most handsome boy who ever walked this cursed earth.
Ugh, boy moms.
Well,
Why am I asking you? What do you know of beauty? Anyway, I gave all of myself to him. All my guidance, all my wisdom, and all of my love. Everyone said, "You are doting on him. Give him some air." How dare they tell me my business? I am Isabella d'Este. I know what is right.
Always right.
Senora, I'm sure you knew what was best for your son, but ain't it possible that those people might have been able to help you? It's lonely work when you feel like you can't listen to anyone else.
Are you telling me how I should have raised my son?
Maybe.
I got a better sense of self-preservation than that, Senora. But you gotta admit, this Nosferatu thinking of being always right is pretty exhausting, ain't it?
Oh, that is true. And as it turned out, pointless. It did not matter in the end. Frankie, in his supreme foolishness, managed to get himself captured by the French.
And we already know you don't like the French.
He ransomed himself out of prison with something more precious than all the gold in Venezia, more valuable than the Pope's seat. He sold my son, my beautiful Federico.
Kill him.
Dang. That must have been devastating, Senora. I can't imagine how painful that must have been.
No, you cannot. For you will never be a mother to a son so beautiful, so intelligent, and so pure. But that was not the end of my pain. It was not enough to take my son away. Not content to merely break me, the French, as always, needed to corrupt.
You're overgeneralizing the French there a little bit.
What do you mean the French always needed to corrupt?
They are a debauched people. I know what they are like.
Senora, you're too smart to judge an entire group of people based on an icky sample. You did that last time talking about the Spanish. I called you out on it then too. Besides, we're vampires. What the hell does it mean to be French or Italian after a century? All the people that made France French back then are dead now.
Yes, of course I am aware. I speak out of anger and hurt.
Well, at least she's aware.
I figured. But honest heads make for honest hearts, I like to say. What did the French do to your son?
They sent my sweet Federico to a den of filth, a place where chastity went to die, straight to the crossroads of Sodom and Gomorrah. They sent him to the Vatican.
That is not what I thought she was gonna say.
The Vatican? Seems like that'd be a pretty boring place for a boy to spend time.
This was Rodrigo Borgia's Vatican. It was a city of prostitutes and perverts, and he was their mayor. My poor Federico. He was a boy of a certain age. I could not have prepared him for the temptations he encountered. When he finally returned to me, he was no longer Isabella d'Este's child. He was the child of Francesco Gonzaga, an experienced whoremonger in his own right.
This is control fallacy again, isn't it? No?
Isabella's need for perfection caused her to no longer recognize her son. Quite a sad story, I must say.
When he finally returned to me, he was
Labeling?
no longer...
Hold on a sec. No longer your child? You can't think that's true. You raised that boy, and there's no way he could forget you. Maybe he got up to shenanigans out there in the Vatican, but you're only hurting yourself by erasing your influence on him. Now be honest. Did he lose everything you taught him?
No. He still had an appreciation of art, for which he had some taste. And he had some political acumen, I suppose.
I'm not saying you should forget what happened to your son. That would be pretty unrealistic. But give yourself some credit for the influence you had, huh?
You are kind, Sam. Thank you. But it is hard to forget the child who returned to me. I am a man now, mother, he would say. I do not have to listen to you. And indeed, he did not. Which is why he died of syphilis, just like his depraved father. He did not even have the courtesy to wait until I was dead. Now do you understand why I prefer the illusion of truth and beauty I tried to bring to art? My mother told me when my marriage was young, Isabella, you must pretend that all is as it should be. The truth is dark, but you must maintain your own.
I hate to say it, Senora, but I think your mama was spouting a few should statements of her own. Keeping up that illusion must have been draining.
That is why I tried to create my own illusions. If I depicted love and chastity in their ideal form, I could make that illusion come true.
Control fallacy?
Well, Senora, if anyone were strong enough to change the world's morality, it might be you. But I think you know the truth is that you don't have that kind of control. No one does.
Then why am I here, Sam? Why are any of us here? Are we here to eat, sleep, fornicate, and die?
I know a few folk who might say that's why we're here. It's one of them existential questions, ain't it? Here's my take, Senora. I think you're here to be you.
I certainly hope you have something more intelligent to contribute than that.
I don't really. Here's the thing, Senora. None of us is gonna change the world overnight, or even in a millennium of nights. But our being here, being ourselves, swings the pendulum in a whole bunch of unknowable ways.
That is a dark interpretation of reality. Are we truly so powerless?
More control fallacies?
What I'm saying, Senora, is not that we're powerless. I'm just saying we ain't gonna change the world on our own. Not everyone's gonna buy what we're selling, but some people are gonna get it. People are still out there talking about the art you brought to the world. Maybe fellas like me don't know who you are. I bet that nasty Pope from your time wasn't your biggest fan. But you can't help but be an influence on people. Just not all people. Ain't that so?
I do not know if that is enough for me, Sam.
Well, here's what I think we should do, Senora. All them efforts of yours are always facing outward. How about we spend some time on you?
What do you mean?
I mean, let's work on the things Isabella D'Este likes. Forget about the rest of the world. What are you putting in your art that's for you and not for anyone else? Is it a little embarrassing?
Hush. If you must know, it is centaurs. I like centaurs.
Oh, I'm so happy for her. I like centaurs too.
Hey, I ain't gonna judge. Sometimes I like horses better than people too.
Yes, well, they are pleasing to look at.
Now, how about this then? Why don't you pick up a brush and paint yourself up a centaur?
I have not attempted to paint for centuries.
This is just for you, Senora. No expectations. How's that sound?
I cannot believe I revealed this thing to you.
Please paint a centaur and please bring it to your next session.
I'm glad you did. I'm a lucky fella. I get to know an Isabella D'Este no one else knows.
Good soup.
Centaurs is good soup.
And no one else will know, or I will make you suffer. Capiche?
Kapash.
You got a deal, Senora. I'm here to be supportive, that's all. I hope that when you come back next month, we'll be having a nice conversation about you finding your muse.
Yes, perhaps. Very well, Sam. I do not understand your ways, but I cannot deny you have a certain untamed wisdom. I shall attempt to paint a centaur. This is not what I expected from therapy, but I shall do as you suggest. I shall see you in 4 weeks then. Arrivederci, Sam.
Oh yeah, see you soon, Senora. Arrivederci.
He's so bad at this.
Goodbye.
Well, well, Samuel. You never cease to impress. Centaurs.
I don't think you're supposed to know about that, boss.
I am 3,000 years old, my friend. Horse people are somewhere at the very tip of my kinky iceberg. It is already forgotten.
Well, the Senora's pretty embarrassed about it, so I'd appreciate it if you kept it to yourself.
Signora D'Este is wise to put her faith in you, Samuel. I will gently remind you that relationships between therapists and clients are highly discouraged.
Bro, she does seem very excited, and I really hope she brings a portrait or a painting of a centaur back with her during the next episode.
Oh, come on, Andy. It ain't like that. Senora D'Este is just...
He's picking on you, Sam.
You're messing with me.
Of course I am. Unless...
All right, you know what? I'm going downstairs. I could use a drink.
Well earned, Samuel. Please, rest in peace.
course, Senora. That lady's holding on to a lot of anger. Reminds me of myself as a young vampire. Pretty hot in here tonight. I think I'll get some air. Maybe I can get to know Bert a little better.
Yes, let's go talk to Bert.
Hey, Bert. How's the crowd tonight? Same old, huh? So,
Talk about the city.
what do you think of Leipzig, Bert? Real fascinating architecture here. Hey, not everyone's into architecture, I get it. So what do you do for fun here? More of a homebody, I guess. Yeah, I'm a little introverted too. Spent 90 years walking in the woods, you know. Yeah, there's nothing I like better in nature. The trees, the plants, the animals. The cities just seem so dead at night. I can tell I'm interrupting. Well, nice talking to you anyway, Bert. I'm gonna head inside.
Have fun, mate.
Good talk.
Hey, Crimson, how's the crowd?
Hey, cowboy. Bit busy tonight, but how'd your session go?
Pretty well.
No, I think this lady's starting to realize what she can't control, which is a lot. She's still mad as hell about it, but I think we're getting closer to acceptance.
I know how she feels, cowboy. I feel like I wasted years of my life in DC trying to make the world a better place. But it sounds like you are making progress to me. She's got time to make her peace. That's what Andy says about you vampires.
Yep, that's true. We can take 40 years or 400, but that's up to us.
In the meantime,
Ooh.
I'll whip something up for a hot summer night.
What's this now?
Blood margarita. Figured a hot-blooded desperado like you could use something cold.
Oh, I could go for one of those today.
Oh, mighty kind of you, Crimson. I'll let you get back to work and take this up to my coffin for a quiet night.
I also like Bert. He seems fun.
Night, Sam.
Now let's see, what'll help me reflect on the night? I think there's something Omar Khayyam once wrote that I can look up. Or I could watch Buster Keaton almost get himself killed a bunch.
More reading.
Well, one of my transcendentalist friends told me about this one. I ain't too good with poetry, but this piece always stuck with me. The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on. Nor all thy piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all thy tears wash a word out of it. Funny how people in far-off places and times always had some similar perspectives. Omar's right. You can't change the past. Life moves forward. I think that's enough for one night. Better get me some shut-eye. Got the feeling my work's gonna get harder before it gets easier.
My dear Samuel, greetings. How are you feeling tonight?
I think we got through all the clients today that we usually get through, or like the whole roster, so to speak. So I think this is a good place to stop this episode for today. I'm super hot, so I'm about to go stick my head in the damn fridge. I hope the rest of you have an awesome day and stay cool, or in Elf's case, stay warm, since you are on the complete opposite side of the planet. Thank you so much, everybody who stopped by to watch. I super appreciate it, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Same place, same time. If I have any announcements to make, I will make them via like Twitter or Blue Sky or Threads or Facebook, one of them. And I will see you guys later. Bye.